What is going on, everyone? Let me know if you can hear me. If you're in watching Flesh and Blood, we got a great Blitz tournament for you today. A little 4-round locals for you guys. Looking to have a lot of fun today. Just a 4-round locals. Got Matt on the left-hand side playing Dorinthia. It's kind of a throwback. We are in the Blitz format, so it's interesting to see that there's definitely a way more variation today than we've seen a lot in the past. Ryan actually on Levia, it looks like, does not have a Levia token, but he is on Levia. We see him come with the blue pulping. Blue pulping looking pretty strong here. It looks like he did discard a 6, so pulping is going to have that text that says it has dominate, and then of course if pulping is not defended by a card by 2 or more cards, it has dominate, and then it'll have go again if it's not defended by 2 or more cards. So really strong card here. Though it is a blue pulping, and Matt did have the defense reaction. I believe the blue pulping comes in for 4, which would defend this exactly for 4. We do see Matt choose to sink below. And I also want to thank you guys for joining us now. I know we're a little late. I've actually had to redo a lot of the settings on the computer. Kind of a whole new setup we got going here. So thank you guys again for watching if you are joining us. If it is quiet, let me know. I think it looks like the Yeti is actually pulling sound up pretty good. So it looks like we should be good to go on that front. Blitz always an interesting, fun format. I do like it for the sake of just being different. We've had a lot of Classic Constructed, and it's just nice to actually see a little bit of variety out here. Now we do see that Matt is going to do a Warrior special here. It's kind of been a while since we've had to talk about a lot of these cards. So Dawnblade being super strong here. He's actually going to set up a Warrior's Valor into a Dawnblade swing. That does appear to be a yellow Warrior's Valor, so that will pump Dawnblade up to 5 damage. Dawnblade is such a strong card. You just kind of want to build this tempo with Dawnblade where you're just building counters, and then making your opponent have to block from hand when they don't want to. Because that turns on all of Dorinthia's reprise effects. Matt was able to pitch a blue, so he does have 1 floating with 2 cards in hand. That's just so scary when you're Ryan. And it's been a while since people have had to defend Dorinthia, so it'll be really interesting to see how they choose to defend. Ryan did defend with a card from hand. He is defending for 5 exactly, so he's kind of forcing Matt to have the defense reaction here. I do see what looks like an Out for Blood in Matt's hand. That Out for Blood, should it be red, will pump this up by 3. Ryan could still have the defense reaction to kind of bait this out. Looks like he is going to play that Out for Blood. That it makes the Dawnblade attack actually an 8 damage attack. And turns on Out for Blood's other effect, which makes your next attack actually swing for 1 more. We're going to see him activate the gloves here. That does close the chain. And so that's actually going to be a 5 damage attack with the gloves, the Out for Blood effect, and Dawnblade's own base 3 damage. Now Ryan has to think here, do I give up another card? Matt is out of cards, so there's no more combat tricks coming, but you really don't want Dawnblade to actually gain a counter here. And Ryan just going to give up Husk. Giving up Husk is really kind of feels detrimental early on in the game, but Ryan kind of understanding that he needs to keep putting on pressure here. And he's actually going to roll Scab Skins, and we see that he does roll a 3, so he's only going to stick with that 1 action point. It's never a good look when you start rolling Scab Skins. It means you're trying to claw back some momentum. Trying to make up for the lack of cards in your hand. And we see another pulping. Now, granted, if pulping doesn't have go again, like if he's not able to get go again by defending with 2 or more cards, right now Ryan doesn't actually have a way to pay for blood debt. Now it's just the chest piece. It's just the carrying husk. So I'm not sure if he's too worried about it, but yeah, definitely something he should be mindful of. Oh wow, we actually see Matt kind of with a newer card. This one's from Monarch. Nourishing Emptiness actually says that if you have no other attacks in your graveyard, it has Dominate, I believe, and if it hits, you gain an intellect. Right? Yeah. Yeah, if you have no other attacks in your graveyard, Nourishing Emptiness says Dominate, and if it hits you, your hero gains 1 intellect. Super strong effect, especially in Dorinthia, where other than that card, I assume Matt is mostly playing non-attack actions because you're just usually attacking with your weapon, Dawnblade, over and over and over again. Wow, and we see actually Ryan coming in with the Blood Rush Bellows into a Shadow of Blasphemous. Blood Rush Bellow, one of the strongest Brute cards. I think it actually kind of makes Brute very viable. Able to buff all of your Brute attacks and draw some cards. Just super strong here. Shadow of Blasphemous, not so much. I believe it fetches a card that you're allowed to banish. Looks like he's going to banish a the Shadow Talent Tome. I know it just draws a card for free, however, it does not have go again. So one of the things you want to do is you want to try to cheat an action point as Brute and then play the Tome and then draw a free card, basically. But you do have to cheat that action point, otherwise you just kind of lose the go again, or lose the action point, and then what did really drawing a card do for you at that point? So Matt having to decide here, like, how much damage is he willing to take. The one thing with Brute coming at you is it's almost always just damage. And so you don't really have too much to worry about. In terms of like any detrimental effects, really you're just wondering like how much damage is optimal. And it looks like Matt's gonna take most of it, not all of it. He took all of it, so he's down to 9. I think yeah, and then Ryan actually has to take 2 blood debts. So even just the blood debt kind of keeping it close to not even being that big of a detriment. So we do see that Matt is gonna throw Dawnblade out for 3 damage. He does have 2 floating, I believe. Matt was able to keep every card, so each of these attack reactions are very scary. Now the thing is, right now Dawnblade does not have go again, but the boots are able to crack and give it go again. Or you can just play a Glint the Quicksilver. No reprise on this Glint the Quicksilver, so he will not draw a card, but it does give Dawnblade go again. So Ryan does take the 3 damage. Here's the big question though. I do see a Singing Steelblade in Matt's hand. Will Ryan decide to defend with one of the cards in his hand, or to prevent a counter on Dawnblade, or will he turn on Glint the Quicksilver? It looks like he's eyeing up a 4 damage defense, which actually he can't even do because he's actually ahead on life right now, so he cannot defend with the Arcanite Skullcap. I mean, he can defend with it, it just doesn't have any, currently doesn't have defense, so we just added a -1 counter. I could see a world where Ryan just takes this, doesn't turn on the Singing Steelblade. He might have the read on it. You know, with 1 floating, it's just very, very common that you'd have, like, out of 2 cards in a warrior's hand, you're just assuming at least one of those is an attack reaction. So, we just need to see if Ryan kind of takes the bait, if he blocks this, or if he turns on Singing Steelblade. I mean, if you're Ryan, it's rough, right? Because you just, I don't know. You block with 2 cards to make it 6. You still have to, you still have to like respect the Singing Steel Blade that can go fetch out something like an Iron Song Response that's free. So that turns a 4 to a 5 to an 8, and now your 6 block doesn't do anything. So in order to like respect Singing Steel Blade, he'd have to block for 9 here. And even then, I'm not sure if he's super comfortable doing that. And it looks like Ryan says no blocks. He's saying, I'm not going to turn on Singing Steel Blade. So he is going to just eat another Out for Blood Dawn Blade. So that brings him all the way down to 4 health. So it's 4 to 9. Brute is able to do some wacky things. Ryan did not give up any cards here. So it'll be interesting to see if Ryan can put on enough pressure. And it looks like he's going to activate Art of War, banishing a card, drawing 2, and I'm assuming go again on the next attack, but we'll have to see. But that's a super good card. Ryan will not take Blood Debt because he banished a 6 or higher with Art of War, so kind of a neat little interaction there. Levi will allow him to not take any Blood Debt thanks to banishing a 6 or higher. It'll be interesting to see, can Ryan put enough damage to get through Arcanite Skullcap if he gets low enough. I'm assuming we're not going to see the chest piece block unless it has to, but the bracers still have 2 block on them. The boots still have 1 block on them. Ryan has to do a lot of damage here to pressure a lot of cards out of Matt's hand, and I just don't know if he has the capacity to do it and still threaten enough to get to where Matt's turn isn't very good and Ryan can just continue to hammer on the pressure. It'll be interesting to see. Ryan kind of taking a look through his graveyard, taking a look through his hand, just trying to figure out the most optimal line of play here. Looks like he's going to start with a Dread Screamer. You know, we gotta shuffle everything up. We're gonna banish 3 random cards. If a 6 is hit, it will have Go Again. Now, if he chose Go Again off the Art of War, that's kind of wasted. But I'd assuming, knowing he has a Dread Screamer, he'd probably pick the +1 on all attacks to get more pressure in. We see 1 hit. Looks like he got a Shadow of Blasphemous, so that should be 2 Shadow of Blasphemous. So Ryan should be good to go. He should have Go Again on this Dread Screamer coming in for 6 damage. Oh, he's actually coming in for 7. That's right. He probably buffed it with the Art of War. Looks like Matt chose to defend with a lot of cards here and a piece of equipment. He finally giving up those boots. They're probably not long for this world. If Matt does get to his next turn, he is probably going to crack those boots, I'd imagine. Oh, wow, I believe this is a Boneyard Marauder, if I'm not mistaken, for another 7 damage. Now, that's 14 damage that Ryan was able to put on. Now, Matt still has 9 life and still has has not blocked with the bracers just yet, so he could bring this down to 5 and go to 4. That doesn't sound too bad, considering Matt still has a couple cards in his hand. However, I mean, what is your turn next turn, right? I mean, I think you try to save 1 card, put it in Arsenal. Hope that Ryan has an off turn because brutes do that. And then finally, I think with the last action point, Ryan's just going to play the Tome. Nope, did not have another action point, so we're just going to go to cleanup here. Ryan going to arsenal a card, draw 4. Matt's on 2 cards. Now, the crazy thing about this is Matt still threatens lethal. Now, the Dawnblade does have 1 counter, and this Steel Blade Supremacy is going to give it +2. So we're actually up to 6 attack on this Dawnblade. If it hits, he will draw a card. And so this is kind of what I was talking about with the bolters. So with the bolters, he still has Go Again available to him. Yeah, so a 6 damage attack with a Steel Blade Supremacy. I mean, Ryan has to give up 2 cards here, but the nice thing is Matt is out of cards, so if you just give up 2 cards here, you just have to pick which 2 cards. Which 2 3 blocks do you want to give up here? Because you still have the 2 cards in hand, you have a card in arsenal. You could try to roll the Scab Skins, but you risk dying to Blood Debt, but Ryan going to give up the 2 cards. Wasn't able to see what those 2 cards were, but nice to see he was able to give up the 2 cards, and we're going to see if he can kind of put on the pressure, make Matt defend with more cards out of his hand so that he can keep on the pressure for sure. So Ryan coming in for 4 damage right now. It's pretty strong. You know, of course, it still does... I'm sorry, this should be 6. Yeah, it's coming in for 6 damage. It does pressure Matt. It is lethal, so he does have to, no matter what, he's going to give up. And they're tied, so he can't give up the other point on Arcanite Skullcap. So, interesting enough, it's going to be interesting to see how Matt decides to block it. How many cards is he willing to keep? How much damage is he willing to take? You know, you don't want to go below 2. We saw early enough, Ryan was on at least 1 Reckless Swing. So, you go to 2, Reckless Swing becomes a... becomes a killing blow, basically, on your turn. Feels kind of bad. And we do see him go to 2. And wow, he's just going to come in with another 6 damage. Is Matt able to block this out and still actually attack him next turn? Another thing that he could do... Hey, what's up, Brandon Lauren? Good to have you here, man. But another thing that Matt could do is he could just try to like block everything out. Dominate is not very common in the Brute deck, other than the Pulpings, which we've already seen 2 blue ones come out. So I'm not sure there, but he does have the he does have a Sigil, which I actually probably would have saved for baiting out the Reckless Swing if you could have, and maybe just block this out. So we're going to actually see him block for 4, take 3. I'm sorry, block for 3 and take 3. And so Matt's down to 3 life. He's going to probably arsenal that last card. Ryan does not take any Blood Debt. He is in the danger zone of where he has to pay for Blood Debt every single turn. So Ryan's turns will be kind of dictated by I need to banish a 6 or kill you. There is no like, let's try to take a turn off and block. He does have to, you know, pay the Blood Debt every single turn now. Pay the Blood Debt or kill his opponent. Matt deciding if he wants to swing Dawnblade. There is an argument to get Ryan lower if Ryan wants to take the 3 damage with Dawnblade. But we're just going to see Matt arsenal and pass. He's saying, I think I can live through this next turn. Or I can just try to block you out and make you die to your own Blood Debt. Ryan's deck is looking a little thin there. And again, you just have to find Ryan. He has to find a way to pay blood debt every single turn. And there can be, he's going to roll Scabskins and he rolls a 1. Is that the way this game ends? It is. Ryan rolls a 1. He had no way to, did he have a way to pay blood debt? I don't believe so, but he rolled a 1 on Scabskin Leathers, everyone. That is what happens. He wasn't able to pay blood debt. He loses loses to his own blood debt, loses the action point. What a wild way to finish this one. Brute's always entertaining. You know, one way or the other, it's going to be entertaining, and this time is no different. Ryan going to roll those Scabskin Leathers, go to 1 health, and lose to his own blood debt, unfortunately. All right, that being said, we will be right back with round 3. Thank you guys who are watching. We will be right back. This is a Blitz tournament from the collective here in Orlando. And thank you guys for joining us so far, and we'll be right back with round 3. What's good? What's good? Thank you again for that sub while we were away for a minute. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. If you're just hanging out, we really appreciate it too. We got a new setup going a little bit here. Can see, hopefully the audio sounds really good. I got a microphone that is much better than the microphone we were using before. I just hope it's coming out clear to you guys. But let's get back to the action. Looks like Nick's got a dazzling crescendo coming in. This is Nick versus Evan, though. Evan's on Oldhim, and Nick is on Lexi. Evan is really big on Oldhim for Blitz. I think it's a really good pick for Blitz because I just don't think it has really too many bad matchups in Blitz. The decks are much smaller, so getting to that fatigue level, that fatigue part of the game is much faster. You don't have to worry about time as much. You know, you have 20 less minutes, but you have 20 less life. I just think Oldhim is actually, he cycles the deck really well between Shield and Crown of Seeds. I think Oldham's really well placed in Blitz for sure. Nick coming in for 4. We see Evan block with a Shield and a Autumn's Touch, but he actually just has the Shield and Autumn's Touch, Crown of Seeds, and then he's using Oldham's Ice or Earth React to block 2 more. So he saves the card there. He's showing, like, I'm not actually blocking with Crown of Seeds, but I am, it's Crown of Seeds effect. So Evan is able to block all 4 damage without actually losing any cards in deck. And that's kind of the big thing, right? So Evan's going to be able to cycle cards to block, and Nick is going to have to, if he chooses to block, is going to lose those cards forever. But we see Evan just kind of passed his turn. He had 1 card in hand. Drew back up. Nick going to go straight into his turn. And every turn, it's just a matter of, can Nick get through Evan's defenses? How much damage can he really do? Lexi has an uphill battle against Guardian. I think any Ranger really does. Your damage is kind of finite. Basically, you have the amount of arrows in your deck, as many buffs as you have. You have to find Dominate where you can. We see Nick is on the Death Dealer build, which is very interesting. Usually you want to go really crazy with snapshots and dazzling crescendos and activate Death Dealer a whole bunch of times. And yeah, it feels so deafening to not be able to get 1 point of... Defeating, sorry. It feels so defeating to not be able to get 1 point of damage through. Yeah, not even 1 point of damage, and you didn't even actually... Evan didn't give up any cards from deck. It was all cycled, pitched, and stuff like that, so... Oh, he did use a Sink Blow on the first attack. But yeah, so 1 card, cycled other cards. Your deck's gonna be getting lower. Your arrows are gonna be running out. It's gonna be really hard for you to get that damage through. We see an Electrify into an E-Strike. Now he does already have Go Again from flipping over with Lexi. So it's going to be interesting to see if he chose draw a card. So 5 Go Again. If it hits, it'll do some extra amount of damage. We see Evan actually use the Crown of Seeds there. You got to get really good at the mechanics of Crown of Seeds. And when I say mechanics, I mean the actual physical mechanics of Crown of Seeds to not go into time. Sometimes you don't realize how much time just cycling that card over and over again from your arsenal can actually take up. So Evan going to block all 5, going to use the prevention on Crown of Seeds, going to use a Shield and a Cranial Crush to block all 5. We do see a Ball Lightning come down. Evan's just saying, I'm going to throw another card in front of that. Not too worried about it. Again, your damage, like your deck will run out of damage before mine does. And Evan just blocking all the damage as much as he wants, not really affecting him at all. Again, Evan's more worried about getting the cards out of Nick's deck, and by Nick spending all these cards and not getting even a single point of damage through is actually like very devastating. Oldham's just such a tank, such a hard shell to crack. You got to get through those cards, got to get through those defense reactions, got to get through his own defense reaction on his hero ability. Got to get through the Shield and Crown of Seeds every turn. That's going to be blocking 2 damage every turn. He's got a 2 damage block on his gloves, a 2 damage block on his chest piece. And we see those come out now. It's just crazy. I mean, this is a Snatch for 4, I believe. And Nick kind of just saying, like, what do I got to do to get through to this, through this defenses? Like, I threw 5 cards at you, and I'm still not getting through. And like you said, Muck Duck, having to do all that and not even getting a single point of damage in, it's still 20 health on the other side. It just feels very deflating, I would imagine. All right, so we see Nick start with a Dazzling Crescendo. He does fuse it, so this will have go again. Coming in, it's just a blue Dazzling Crescendo for 2 damage. We're going to see Evan Crown of Seeds into a shield, not giving up a single card, but blocking this entire arrow's damage. And this is where I don't know if Lexi even really has a path to victory here. We do see Nick gonna activate the Art of War here. It's just really interesting because he's gonna banish an attack to draw 2, but that's another card from the deck / hand that's just out of play, so that's potential damage you're giving up. Hopefully you're able to either pick +1 or go again. Oh, he actually played it in the defense reaction or defense window, so this attack does gain +1. So Nick is on the board. He dealt 1 point of damage so far. We are going to activate Death Dealer. It is a snapshot, so we're going to draw a card. Does have go again. The snapshot being fused. Looks like we cleared the chain. Interesting enough. Oh, he didn't play the bow as an instant. Got to go back to where activating the bow is actually an action, not an instant. Funny enough, snapshot will allow him to, if fused, activate the bow as an instant, thus not clearing the combat chain anymore. But that first activation does clear the combat chain. Why that's relevant, Evan does have a floating resource and the shield, so it will be able to block for 2 next turn. Or next attack, that is. We see Evan block with the Forged for War, a really good card, blocking for 3. We have the Entwined Lightning fused again. So this Entwined Lightning will have go again, coming in for 4 damage, I believe. Evan blocking with a Glacial Footsteps. Oh, the Entwined Lightning should have +1. Interesting enough. So I believe that should actually be 5. The +1 being from Art of War. So is that where Evan's going to choose the block with the shield again, blocking all 5? I see no reason why not. That way it's just exact. Not giving up any more card advantage, not giving up any more cards in deck. Looks like Nick is going to activate a Lightning Press, I believe, giving it +3. Players are just talking over, not really sure what they're talking over. Seems like they're just clarifying maybe how much damage each thing was doing. And yeah, it looks like we're just going to move on to Evan's turn. Evan actually has cards in hand, so it's going to be fun to actually see him do something on his turn. He's just going to swing the hammer for 4. It's a normal Guardian card that he pitched. Not talented, not ice, so it's just going to be 4 damage. And Nick, knowing that he can't give up cards here, his life total isn't really of much concern. More so the deck and how much damage he has potentially left in it is probably the more concerning thing. Evan only losing 25% of his life so far at 15. It's just so difficult to get through against this Oldham player. He's able to cycle cards so often, not really not really spend cards to block, not really spend cards to attack. I mean, just swinging the hammer most times. We're going to see an Electrify come out. He did flip it first with Lexi, so that next attack will have Go again. That next attack having Go again, usually pretty important for Ranger, especially the Lightning Rangers. They want to string together multiple attacks to try to put on pressure, get cards out of hand. But again, it's just kind of a losing battle against an Olden player. They always have ways to cycle cards to block damage. So you have Shield, which only costs a resource to block at least 1 point. If Crown of Seeds is going to block another point, usually for the cost of a blue or a yellow or a blue, you can do both those things. Still have one floating, so if they close the chain, which he might have to do later on, like we saw in the last turn, that shield's going to block another 2 points of damage because it grows with the floating resource. It's just really strong. Lexi against other aggro decks, I think can actually take them by surprise. I just think Lexi as a deck kind of, especially Lightning Lexi, kind of struggles against a lot of this stuff. A lot of the more controlling matchups like Oldhim. And Bravo to an extent too. Bravo able to control Lexi a little bit differently, putting Dominate on some pretty serious crush effects. Lexi a lot of the aggro decks, I think the way they're kind of balanced is they want to keep as many cards in hand as possible. And I think Bravo's able to keep those cards out of hand. Things like Crippling Crush, things like Stop and Go again with Spinal Crush, things like that. And having Dominate on his hero ability is really strong. But back to this game, we see Evan actually having the Sink below and a shield. Just so strong. And then again, if Nick wants to activate, he doesn't play the Snapshot, so he actually cannot activate the bow again, I believe. So he'd have to kind of use a... oh, he's going to actually use the Bracers. The Bracers are going to allow him to load an arrow. He does have a Snapshot he's going to load. Evan's making sure that's an action, just for the same reason he wants to be able to use the shield again. And yeah, the Snapshot comes out. Oh, Nick gonna think about that one again. Think he doesn't have another way to load the... Yeah, I don't believe he has another way, even with a few Snapshot, to load the with Death Dealer again and shoot it as well. So shoot the arrow that he does load. Looks like Evan's just gonna be able to block with just his second point on Crater Fist. Again, just not being able to get these points of damage in are just so crippling. Yeah, it was muted. Thank you so much. I was talking that entire time. Yeah, the phone rang and I didn't want to have the phone pop over the stream. But yeah, so back to, I was really speaking on the null rune boots. It's kind of interesting. I want to know what the thought is there. I wonder if, we are looking for zero block, non blade break, non temper boots. Then I don't know why you wouldn't run something like a Mage Master boots. I don't know if you have anything that would take advantage of that. The only thing I can think of is that Forge for War is the option there, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what the reason for that is, other than, yes, it's a Forge for War target. How does this microphone sound, by the way? I know you were my microphone critic earlier, so I just want to make sure. We're using a new microphone. It's supposed to be a lot better, so. And Evan able to swing the hammer there. Just did have the ice effect, so Nick having to deal with a Frostbite token, going to make that first activated ability or card cost 1 extra. That can mean a lot in Ranger. If you don't have the... It's kind of a lot more detrimental against other... Like against Azalea. Reason being, she only ran like yellows and reds, so... Better than the old one. Thank you. So... but yeah, against like the yellow and red line Rangers, was much more detrimental. Usually Lexi has the ability to pay with a blue, runs a lot more blues than the traditional Ranger, especially Snapshot, or I guess it would be not too bad to call it Snapshot Lexi, but Death Dealer Lexi, where you're trying to chain together snapshots, just like that in Arsenal. You want to have the resources to pay for Death Dealer over and over again, so having those blues helps a lot. The only thing is, against heavily defensive decks, is blues obviously don't do as much damage, so easier to block, easier not to take as much damage. This coming in for 2, it looks like Evan's able to use the shield, use the... Yeah, his deck, I mean, it's hard to tell, again, how much exactly is in there, but you can, a lot of times, especially in Blitz, because the decks are even at 40, you can just look that Evan's deck is about even with his graveyard, and Nick's graveyard is much higher than his deck. It's obviously getting pretty thin here. We're throwing blue snapshots out. We're blocking them with pummel. Yeah, it's not looking good here if you're the Lexi player. Also, I did see that Evan in the last round was playing against Alex. Alex is on Briar, and it ended pretty much the same way. Evan was able to pretty much completely deck out Alex on Briar. It's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of this match. I think Oldhim is very well positioned in Blitz at the moment. He is just such a tough shell to crack. So much damage has to come through. Especially when you're playing like a Ice Lexi, or I'm sorry, a Lightning Lexi, or a Death Dealer, aggro deck, anything that's very... doesn't want to pitch, a lot of abusing of free cards. Card economy is very important. I think if Lexi was going to have a strong or stronger matchup against either Bravo, Oldhim, any of these decks, I think I would imagine she wants to run something we don't really see a whole lot, which is actually Shiver. I think Shiver having Dominate on the bow. Now again, you'd have to run a completely different deck because you just have to run a completely different deck. I mean, you're not throwing out, you're not able to use Shiver as often as you like. It doesn't draw the card like Death Dealer. It only has a once per turn instant. But it does have Dominate on its, when you load the arrow, you can actually pick Dominate as one of the buffs you give the arrow. So it does help you against these very defensive decks. So you play a bunch of non-attack actions, you buff the arrow, give it Dominate, throw it at them. Hopefully it has a detrimental enough effect that you hinder their turn just as much as they're trying to hinder your turn, and you kind of get their sneak points of damage through Dominate. I don't think we're going to see much of that. I think you have to have a very specific game plan for that. A lot more ice cards, a lot more buff cards, which also, again, you go that route and suddenly your deck is not very good at blocking because you're running less arrows, you're running more non-attack actions, and almost every single non-attack action that Lexi would run blocks for 2. It's very obvious, it's very unfortunate. Blocking for 2 is not great in this game. It gives you like just really awkward hands for blocking. And other than arrows, almost every card in the Lexi deck will either block for 0 or 2. Evan blocking with a single card and a shield. Does get Evan down to 4 damage, 4 health left. So maybe, the deck is pretty thin here, but if Nick can string together a good enough turn, there is a hope for him yet. This is a Winter's Wail coming in for 4 damage, and it does have the Frost effect. If you're Nick, I don't know if you take this. You do have a resource on your Tunic. That being said, getting that resource costs 1, so you just kind of negate the Frostbite token via the Tunic, just kind of a roundabout way. And Nick taking all 4, and we're tied at 4 now. Evan still has enough to put a card in Arsenal, making Crown of Seeds live. And so we're going to see Nick activate the Tunic here. However, that does actually cost a resource. Oh, super unfortunate that Evan couldn't block that. His hand was Sigil and Blizzard. Yeah. It's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, I don't know how unfortunate it is. I mean, he's been able to block everything that Nick has done almost up to this point. So we see him activate Tunic. I think Evan's letting him know that in order to activate Tunic, you actually need to pay the resource first for that anyway. The Tunic resource is not, like, you don't just have the resource. It's actually an activated ability to remove 3 counters from Tunic to gain a resource. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that trips up players is just the way the Tunic interaction with a Frostbite. It is an activated ability to gain that resource. You see on Evan's side, he's going to activate the Crown of Seeds for probably the 8th to 9th time this game, maybe more. And then use the shield. I will say, I don't know what color Ball Lightning this is. If it's a yellow Ball Lightning, the way damage prevention actually stacks is that he could actually get through this if he so chose. It must have been a blue Ball Lightning. I'm going to go with it was a blue Ball Lightning for now, or they just don't know about the interaction. Again, damage prevention and if you would take damage effects, replacement effects are not the most intuitive. The way they stack are up to the turn player, and it can just be very confusing. If you think a yellow Ball Lightning should be able to be blocked by a Crown of Seeds and a shield, I wouldn't knock any points off your score, so to speak. I wouldn't say like that's a wrong way to think, other than that's just not the way the game works. So because the Ball Lightning would technically be doing 2 were it to hit, and the damage prevention only blocking 1, you actually would only block 1. You still take 1 there. Not sure what color the Ball Lightning though it was, so we'll have to see. We're going to see Evan was actually able to defend with the shield again because Nick had to close the chain to activate Death Dealer. Then fire the Dazzling Crescendo, and then Evan's going to react with an Icy Oldham effect. And say, hey, take one of those cards, put them back on top of your deck. Or maybe not. Maybe that was just paying for the shield. It looks like it wasn't, yeah, so maybe it was just paying for the shield again. Oh, no, he did have to give up that card. Yeah, it was pitched for Oldham. It was both. Is that the Pulse of Eisenloft? Okay, yeah, it's hard to see for me a little bit. The monitor I'm using is a little bit far away, but yeah, it's interesting to see. And is that it? I believe that is it. I'm not really sure. So Evan was able to pitch Pulse of Eisenloft, activate for both. Block 2, put a card back on deck. I believe Nick's just saying, I don't have a way to win this game. There's no more attacks left in my deck other than an E-Strike. I think that's what happened there, if I had to guess. I will make sure. Yeah, that's what I assumed too. There's just no, there was like 3 cards left in deck. He's just going to say, I have no way to win. And that's going to be it. Yeah, so we will be right back with round 4. Looks like Evan's going to be the winner there. I believe that makes him undefeated. We have one more round of Swiss and then a cut to top 4 today. Everyone who showed up today, by the way, if you guys are local, every single person who showed up is getting a cracked bauble. And that goes true for the rest of December until we run out of them. I expect we'll probably run out of them next week, but I'll let you know on stream. But yeah, anyone who shows up to the collective, if you are local, everyone is getting that Christmas cracked bauble. Super cool if LS has to give those out. I think that's really awesome. We're going to go to the Be Right Back screen. Yeah, so be right back. We'll be back with round number 4 very soon. Stick around, and then top cuts right after that. Because it's Blitz, we're getting through these rounds so fast. I love it. And I just thank you guys for hanging out so much. And if you can, please follow if you haven't already. Please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Lets us know that you like what we're doing. Are you having an event on the 26th? I believe so. I think they're only closed for Christmas Day. I will double check. I expect that event will either be the slowest event or the busiest. Depends on how people want to spend their Christmas vacation. So I will double check and let you know by next round. I want to say it's like, I'm like 95% sure they are, because I think the only time they're closing is the day of Christmas. So, and that's, I got to double check if that's even true. I want to say it's definitely true. I think they're definitely closed that day. But I will be right back. Thank you guys for watching. Again, what I was saying, if you're on YouTube, make sure you please subscribe. And then if you guys can, share this link around of this channel. Share the Twitch around. I would super appreciate it. The more people we get in here, the more people chatting. It helps me out a lot. I'm by myself casting today. So reading chat really helps me keep the conversation going. Otherwise, it's like me talking to a void. So I really appreciate you guys chatting and sharing. And we'll be right back with round number 4. All right, welcome back to round 4. This is a win and in. This is table 3. So the winner of this should be going on to top 4. So it's going to be a good one for you. We have Tom on the left-hand side playing Oldham, another Oldham. This is actually a Guardian Mirror match. Looks like Tom is actually on a Sledge of Anvilheim build, and I kind of love it. I think he was playing this for Classic Constructed, especially in Guardian Mirrors. I don't know if he switches it up because I believe the last time we actually had him on stream was against another Guardian. So we're going to see Kyle actually block with 3 cards, saying, I am not letting you get any damage through. Another interesting thing to note is Tom is on Heart of Ice against a Bravo. The reason that is relevant is if you're trying to sneak damage in, Heart of Ice actually makes it really hard for them to defense react. They have to give up a card when they normally wouldn't, or an extra card when it is a defense react with cost. So we're going to see a pretty common play from Kyle's side. He is going to play he's going to make a Seismic Surge token with his chess piece, and then he's just going to play a Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer, such an evergreen card. 6 damage, 2 cost. If it hits, destroy the card in Arsenal. Here's the problem. Against a deck like Oldham, Crown of Seeds makes this card very much worse. It never hits the card in Arsenal. It's always going to prevent 1 damage, like almost every single time. Interesting to note, Tom is not running the shield, so if he does Crown of Seeds, it kind of doesn't feel very good because you still are going to have that 2 floating. We're just going to see him block with 2 cards. Tom not really super worried about it. Again, even if Kyle had the pummel there, you can activate Crown of Seeds to protect the card if you would like to. We see that the card he was protecting was a Forged for War, which is just an insanely good defensive card. Going to give all of your armor +1 defense. That is super relevant. Again, less relevant without the shield, but does make things like the Crown of Seeds, the boots block for 1, because the boots breaking is actually a triggered effect. If you choose to pay, you can give it 2 defense, and then they'll break at the end of the chain. But he is choosing, usually when Forged for War is out, you can either pay and give him 3 defense, which is wild, or you can just not pay and they have 1 defense base. It's really good. Forged for War is definitely like kind of an underrated card. It does give up a little bit of tempo, but again, without the shield as well, I just don't know. You're kind of missing out on a lot there. I mean, you don't have the strong chest piece and gloves. Tom kind of pointing out that's a defense reaction, probably not the card Kyle meant to use on stream, or meant to use in the match. So stream can kind of like, you're thinking more about doing everything right on stream, but then sometimes accidentally putting down the wrong card can happen. Looks like we're just trying to figure out our pitch here, just trying to make sure it's good. We are going to swing Anathos for 4, I believe. And Tom taking advantage of that Forged for War. Such a good card. Taking advantage of it allows him to block a lot of the damage. Yeah, just blocking 2 damage for free. Not having to give up any cards. Going to let him just keep way more cards in his hand so that he can just come bring the punishment this turn, maybe with a fused Oak and Old. Let's go. So Oak and Old coming in for 7 base, but when it's fused, it actually comes in for 9. Dominate, and if it hits, not crushes, but if it hits, you're going to take 2 random cards and put them on the bottom of the deck. So it's kind of like a alternate timeline crippling crush. It's just a little bit different. You do have to fuse it with an ice and an earth card, which Tom was able to do. And it's just a really strong card. And now you kind of see why he was willing to take that 2 damage, not give up any cards, because he needed all the cards in his hand to do this. I mean, he pitched the Terra Sunder, was able to pay for the Oak and Old. Oak and Old only costs 3, so even if it's just a 3 for 7, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. But Fuse, 3 for 9, Dominate, and the on-hit effect is just where it's at as long as you can fuse it. But again, you did need all those cards in your hand to be able to do so. So Kyle going to block with 1 card. He's going to say, take those 2, put them on the bottom. Usually I try to let my opponent know that you can choose the order, but doesn't have to. But yeah, you can choose the order as they go on the bottom. The cards that just go on the bottom are random. Looks like that token's going to pop. And we're just going to make another token and pass. That fused Oak and Old was just a little too much for our turn. So we're just going to make a token, get ready for next turn, and pass it on. Another thing that makes Oak and Old a little bit crazy, a little, as crazy as Crippling Crush, a little bit different, is that it's just on hit if it's fused. It's not on crush, where Crippling Crush, the math for it is kind of funny that if they have a defense reaction in Arsenal, they almost never get crushed by it. Again, you still get a lot of cards out of them. You still usually get a piece of armor, a defense reaction from Arsenal. However, getting that crush effect is just a little more of a hoop you have to jump through. So we're going to activate Crown of Seeds, and activating Crown of Seeds on your own turn is actually like not the end of the world. You're usually trying to filter to get a specific card to be able to either like fuse with or a better attack to come at you with. I'm interested to see what attacks that Tom is actually playing. We do see the Glacial Footsteps, which is a pretty common card to use. It usually is good to close out games, has built-in Dominate if it's fused with an ice card. It'd be interesting to see if he plays something like a Mulch. Mulch is very strong. Tear Asunder is also very, very strong. He pitches a yellow Autumn's Tut to do it, so he still has one floating. We'll have to see what he does. Does he have... If he has another blue, he can actually swing his weapon, and he is going to do that. So it's coming in for 7 damage, Dominate, and if it hits, discard 2 cards. Now Kyle will get to pick those 2 cards, but 7 damage and Dominate, and that's another reason Sledge of Anvilheim is just so interesting. And we're going to see Kyle give up every piece of armor. He's like, I am not getting rid of 2 cards again. He's like, I did this last turn. I don't want to do it again this turn. He's like, I want an actual turn. So this is I feel like that was a good time to give up your armor. Kind of try to swing momentum back in your favor. And that's a good way to do it. Activate Bravo. Give this Dominate. And here it is. Crippling Crush. He said you swang Oak and Old at me. And I have Crippling Crush coming back right at you. Crippling Crush again, though, it comes in for 11, and it has to do 4 or more damage to actually get the discard 2 random card effect. But unless, and again, Oldham, just like the last game, has a lot of ways to kind of sneak around blocking a lot of damage. I mean, Crown of Seeds, he does have 2 block on his gloves. He has 2 block available to him on his boots. So that's 2, 4, 5. If there's a defense reaction in Arsenal, he can do that as well, or instead of Seeds. But it looks like we're not going to do any of that. It looks like we're just going to block with a 2 block from hand. So you would be taking 9 at the time. But we do see a defense reaction. It is the Pulse of Eisenloft, giving your ice cards +1 defense. I believe it gives your ice, earth, and elemental cards +1 defense. So Tom only taking 2 damage from that. It's actually pretty good. Able to get around that Crippling Crush, and he actually still has 2 cards in hand. So we see him just, he's going to just swing the hammer again for 6. And I think this is just the power of the hammer that Tom has chosen to play. It's just coming in for 6 every single turn. Sledge of Anvilheim can just, it does 6. Anathos can do 6 as well, but there's a bit of a restriction on it that Oldham can't always fulfill, right? It looks for cards that cost 3 or greater. Oldham plays a lot of the elemental cards don't cost 3 or greater that you have to play. So it's just a little bit more difficult to activate Anathos every single turn. Whereas Sledge of Anvilheim just says 6 on it. It costs 4 resources, but it just says 6. All right, so this is a Choke Slam coming from Kyle's side. I believe this is Choke Slam, but it's either Choke Slam or Crush the Weak. I get those 2 confused. But coming in for 7 damage here. Interesting enough, we're going to see Tom block with a 3 block, take 4. And then he's just going to Sigil on his turn. Tom going back up to 15 kind of doesn't... It's that Oldham effect where it's just like, I need to crack through this. Even as a Guardian player, even as a fellow Guardian, it's just so difficult to actually crack through what Oldham is doing, how much defensive cards he can play, how many defensive effects he has. It's very difficult for him to actually get through all that damage. So we actually see Kyle is going to end up taking 3 here, going to 8. Yeah, going to 8 there. Tom at 15. Token's going to pop on Kyle's side, so we're going to see if he can actually swing back at him. Oh, he is going to swing back already. He's swinging back with a Spinal Crush now. Go again, not the most important of effects for an Olden player, if I have to be honest. However, 9 damage is still very relevant. You know, just throwing these big haymakers out. It would have been nice to see that Kyle is floating too. I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure he's clearly saying, like, I want you to block in terms of I have pummel, which could be the right play. However, your life total is like kind of lower, so I wonder if like I personally wonder if like Dominate was the right player, even if the pummel is in his hand. I guess you do get the card out. So we're gonna actually see Tom not block at all at the moment. Now he still could defense react. And he's just not going to. So he's actually going to take 11 and go to 4. Tom has to discard a card. That is a super aggressive plan from Tom's side of the field. He was in control in terms of life point total this entire time. He's going to choose this, discard the Endless Winter. Endless Winter is a really strong card, kind of like the ice version of Mulch. I mean, it's really a different effect, but just that's what it reminds me of. And we actually see Tom is going to respond with a Spinal Crush of his own. And again, go again, not being super relevant to the Bravo player. It does turn off Bravo's ability in a sense, because it's an action that requires go again. Should this crush. Now, if it crushes, it takes Kyle to 1. That's got a lot more issues because anything with Dominate is pretty much game. And we're going to see Kyle actually use a Staunch Response and take 3. Taking 3, go to 4. Oh, so I must have the life totals mixed up. So yeah, it's 4 to 4. Tie game, and we're just going to see Anathos for 4. Pitching 1 card. Now, this is threatening lethal. However, Tom still has a lot on his side of the field. He still has his gloves at 2 defense ready to go. Still has his boots should he choose to use them. And Kyle only, not really threatening pummel here. He only has 1 card in hand. So, looks like we're just going to use 1 card, take 1. He does play the Mulch, which I do really like. I actually really like Mulch as a card. And I guess if you're playing Oaken Old with the intent to fuse it, you're definitely playing the Earth cards that already confuse the Mulch. And this can be backbreaking. So he plays the Channel Lake Frigid on his turn, and still has enough to swing the Sledge of Anvilheim for 6 damage. So defense reactions cost 1 more now. Kyle's turn is now more, or is less efficient. It's very difficult to play through a Channel Lake Frigid. I don't care what class you are. It makes your entire turn just very different than what you're used to. Things that were free now cost 1. That's probably the biggest difference, right? It's things you weren't expecting to pitch for. Things like making a Seismic Surge token costs 1. But it's just like suddenly the Seismic Surge token costs 2. Just doesn't feel as good. And we're actually just going to swing a Anathos. We were able to keep the 1... pay for the Channel Lake Frigid increased cost. And now Kyle kind of saying, like, hey, here's my own hammer for 6. You have Sledge of Anvilheim all game. I have Anathos, 6 damage coming at you. I don't care about Channel Lake Frigid. Block with 2 cards. We're going to lose the Mount Heroic and the Glacial Footsteps. I believe that is... I don't know how many Glacial Footsteps he's on. He's definitely given up 2 of them already. I think he pitched 1 earlier. So yeah, there might be 1 left in the deck. Usually most decks in Constructed play the blues, just because it's a very efficient attack even at blue. Still blocks for 3. And we're just going to swing Anathos. It looks like we were able to keep up the Channel Lake Frigid. Those are 2 ice cards in the pitch zone. And this is where Channel Lake Frigid can be kind of backbreaking, where it just gets to stick around. Interesting enough, Tom left one floating. Could have Heart of Ice there. Wouldn't have really mattered. Kyle giving up 2 cards, not using a defense reaction. Still, again, we were able to channel 2, keep the Lake Frigid underneath. And we're just going to swing Anathos for 6 again. You know, we have the Channel Lake Frigid out. Probably pitching, yeah, we pitched a Crippling Crush and probably a blue there. Anathos only costing 3 technically. So in a way, I mean, the only thing that really stopped this is getting the Seismic Surge token. And now we're at kind of this interesting point in the game where Kyle and Tom both have to give up cards to block, and their attacks are kind of just less efficient. And it kind of becomes this game of attrition. Who gets the big attack through? You would think Channel Lake Frigid kind of helps Tom on his side of the field actually get the big attack through, but as we see, that hasn't really been the case. It's just been kind of Anathos for 6, or I'm sorry, Sledge of Anvilheim for 6, Sledge for 6, Sledge for 6. Haven't really seen since that dominated Oaken Old anything really big on Tom's side of the field. Though that was an interesting play. I love Oaken Old. I think Oaken Old was the card that made me want to play Oldhim. It was like, I think this card's just too good for Oldhim not to be played. Oaken Old of all things. Not even his hero ability. It kind of shows that maybe I wasn't on Oldhim for the right reasons. I just saw like this crazy big attack, and I just thought it was too good. Oldhim being much more successful so far as a defensive hero and less as an attacking hero. I mean, you still attack as him, of course, but definitely seems that you want to go more make them come to you strategy. Make them burn all their good stuff, and then you go in. And we're just going to see Tom actually activate another Sigil of Solace, gaining another 3 life, and then blocking with 1 card. That's going to negate the damage he basically takes. You play it before you take the damage so you don't die, of course. Go right back down to 3. Just shortcut that a little bit. Now, Channel Lake Frigid still is out, so we're going to send this E-Strike. And if I had to guess before he shows me what he does, I would say 7, just to get more cards out of his hand. Channel Lake Frigid is going away, so you're kind of worried, like if you say draw a card just for the arsenal. Oh, he is going to draw a card. Make me eat my words over here. He's definitely going to draw a card, and I guess he values Crown of Seeds. If I had to guess, that's the #1 reason. We value Crown of Seeds. We're going to put that card in Arsenal, turning the Crown of Seeds on, just in case Kyle tries to get through anything with Dominate. The reason I like 7 instead of the draw card, though, is it does get rid of 2 cards. And I guess that's maybe where the aggressive mindset of me, I don't belong on Oldhim. I'm like, let's get all the cards out of hand. And Kyle's going to give up 2 cards anyway. Interesting enough. Not taking any damage. And we get the card in Arsenal just in case we want to Seeds. So we are going to start on Kyle's side of the field by making a token, coming in with that blue disable. I believe blue disable is 5 damage. Oh, 7 damage. Oh, it must be... Wow, that looks really blue on my side of the screen. It must be red. Where is it? Oh, blue disable does actually come in for 7. Tom giving up a lot of his armor at this point. Finally giving up those boots. Still going to 1. Now, any dominated attack can very much mean the game for Kyle. However, Tom was able to keep a lot of his cards. I believe actually... Oh, we're going to actually be able to fuse the Oaken Old again. This is kind of the biggest play on Tom's side of the field prior, and now this is a huge swing on his turn. Does Kyle have a way to not take 4 damage here? Is there a sigil? The gloves are already gone. This could be the game. 9 damage dominate. This could get Tom into top 4. This attack right here. And looks like Kyle has the staunch response and is able to actually pay the extra and only take 1. He still loses the 2 cards to the bottom of the deck, but he lives to fight another day. Talk about having the perfect card in the perfect moment. And if you're Tom, I mean, you don't have a lot of dominate, but you still have a lot of big attacks that are going to command a lot of cards out of the Bravo player. Looks like we're going to activate Crown of Seeds on our turn. Maybe not quite. We're just going to sow tomorrow. We're going to put back the Oaken Old. Because it was played from Arsenal, we do get to draw a card. Putting back an Oaken Old, super good there. Looks like, I believe Tom's going to try to find a way just to hold on. Oh, wow. So it's one dominated attack after another. I was talking about this earlier. That is going to be game. He was able to find enough resources to play the Glacial Footsteps and fuse it with Ice. Tom should be going to top 4, I believe, with that win. That was a huge turn of events there. Tom able to actually play the fused Oaken Old twice and then fuse the Glacial Footsteps for game. I think that is just back-breaking if you're on Kyle's side. You played very well, Kyle. You did a good job. I don't really think there's anything much else I would have changed. Tom, you played really well as well. And I think it was a great game between these two Guardian players. Really fun to watch. Blitz is a little interesting. You know, you're right in the middle of... You go right to like where things matter. We're blocking a lot more because we're a little more afraid of what could actually happen, what's coming around the corner, and super fun to watch. Thank you to both of these players for playing on stream for us. We will be right back with top 4. Top 4 being at least top 4 coming up right away, pretty much. I believe that's one of the nice things about having a Guardian Mirror match is that hopefully that ate up a lot of the round clock, and so the Be Right Back stream shouldn't be on too much. Like I said before, in between every round, thank you to the collective, and also, if you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe and follow. Again, Jay Lockwood, thank you so much for the sub earlier. It means a lot. And it means a lot to us, again, if you guys could share this around. It would mean so much to me. Let's get a lot of people in for top 4 so we can watch some great Blitz matches going on here. All right, guys, thank you so much. We will be right back with top 4. All right, so we have top four for you guys. Actually, it is your top four is two Oldham players, which are on stream right now. It's Evan and Tom, a Briar and a what is Matt Pollitt on?
He's on Dorinthia.
And a Dorinthia. Actually, a pretty good range of classes there. We have two Guardians, a Warrior, and a Runeblade. Super exciting.
I feel like we're only going to see Warriors as much as we do these days in Blitz because, of course, what's the word I'm looking for? They just don't see a lot of play in Constructed these days. Not as much as they used to, anyway. Oldham and Briar proved to be a little too much for them, it seems. Oh, and Prism, too.
I'll be right back.
Now you good? All right, what's up, people? It's Ryan in the house after scrubbing out with Levia 2-2. Fun day today, otherwise. And you know what? Levia's fun. Levia's fun. Even when you take the L to your own cards. Yeah, strong start here. It looks like Tom is coming in for the Glacial Footsteps. I did not notice if he fused just now, but we'll be able to see the way Evan blocks how if he was able to fuse it, which is a very strong turn one, especially because you can arsenal the card that you use for the fusion and get in some dominated damage on the Oldham early before he has a chance to kind of build up, his usual I block everything with one pitch and then maybe one or two cards from hand with all the other cards just being on the field already. They're both running Sledge, which I have kind of mixed feelings about. It's yes, you get to push for the 6 damage, and you can't really run Anathos to the same effect because unfortunately Oldham with all those ice cards doesn't have a lot of 3-cost cards. But at the same time, it's if you were to defend with everything from hand or defend with even 3 cards from hand, you suddenly don't even have enough to swing with Hammer for the turn. There it is. Tom with the spice. Okay, so Tom's on the left. Yeah, Tom's on the left. I don't know why I didn't read that. Tom coming in with a spicy Channel Mount Heroic into a Endless Winter. Now that is an insane way to start the game. Yeah, I have not seen any other Oldhams that are locals play Channel Mount Heroic before, because everyone's on just kind of the icy defensive build. But, in Blitz, I could see it being pretty spicy to close out games a little more efficiently. +3 on the Blizzard, pumping it up to 11. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to fuse it, so Evan will not get extra frostbites when he tries to defend it. And it's not dominated, so he will be able to defend it. But, yeah, still getting a lot of cards out of Evan's deck just by defending it at the start of the game. Plus, if he wants to defend enough, he won't be able to swing with Sledge of Anvilheim back. So It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do, though. Unfortunately, I can't see what his hand is. He did use the Crown of Seeds already. Oh, he's just going for the Sink Blow only. I guess he was opting to take the damage since he had the health lead after Tom took the Glacial Footsteps. And just opting to make sure he can continue putting on pressure with the Hammer and Arsenal a card for Crown of Seeds for next turn. What's up, James? Good to see you here again, as always. And Nick, good to see you both here. Ooh, Icequake into Sledge. That's spicy. I always liked Icequake being able to buff any attack for the turn. It does cost 1, but I mean, if you have like Zealous Beltings or even E-Strike with Go Again to threaten multiple Frostbites, it's pretty good. So, and in this case, it's making Sledge come in for an odd 7. So if Tom wants to fully block, he's either going to have to block with the at least 3 cards or 2 cards and, yeah, probably, no, he doesn't have the shield. Oh, they both don't have the shield with Sledge, that's right. Yeah, he's going to have to block with 3 cards if he wants to block all of it. Alright, so he's opted to take 4. And I do see Tom's running Heart of Ice in this matchup, so I don't know, just because it's a little hard to see from up here, how many times he's actually activated it, but it is insanely good against the mirror match because it makes it so that any of those times where you want to, ooh, that's pretty good. Coming in with the, what's that card called again? Icy Encounter for only 7 because it is the blue, but it is threatening the Frostbite nonetheless, and the Channel Heroic buff on it is pretty nice. Getting back to what I was going to say, the Heart of Ice is pretty insane in the mirror match because anytime you activate Crowns or Oldham's ability, it costs the extra 1, which is a really odd number, especially for the Oldham ability, when you want to, you know, not take damage or actually activate the ability and try and swing back on your next turn. It's very inefficient. But yeah, for now, coming in with the Icy Encounter threatening the Frostbite, what's Evan going to do? Evan's got a pretty commanding health lead for a mirror match of Oldham versus Oldham. And that, more than any other kind of mirror match, means I feel like it means the most because of how long the games drag out. Especially when Oldham's just trying to survive longer than their opponent can keep all the cards in their deck. But the thing is with the mirror between Guardians, is that when both players are only playing with, like, either swinging with the weapon or attacking with one card, like Endless Winter, for example, that pitches all those to do the damage threshold it does, it's like, eventually it's going to come down to who was able to do or threaten the most damage early enough versus the person who has to defend out most of the early game. Ooh, Forge for War there. That's going to be really helpful in terms of blocking some extra damage during Evan or Tom's next turn. So no resources floating. I would assume, depending on how many cards... Yep, he's just going to swing the Sledge. Oh no, he's going to swing with the Oakenold. I think that's better in this case because it looks like he probably would have been... No, he could have Arsenaled it. I think the 7 damage coming from the Oakenold is good though because then it's threatening Tom to either defend with a bunch of cards or even go down to 1 health if he wants to be risky. Yeah, Tom does have to start respecting this because, like, you could say that Oldham's really good at stopping even 1 health from going through, but if he goes down to 1 health and starts forcing himself to have to block each turn, even up to the maximum amount, like, that's going to start decking him out a lot faster than Evan's going to at that rate. Alright, Crown of Seeds, you know, classic Oldham start. So I know what list Evan is running because he asked me to build the deck for him. Those are my Oldham cards. Luckily, I was deciding to play Levia today for him. But I wonder what kind of other spicy stuff, because I see the turn Timber, so Tom's obviously playing a little bit heavier Earth line in order to make the Channel Mount Heroics work, as well as a few other cards, I'm sure. Plus the Icy Encounter is something that Oldham players don't usually play. Alright, so he did activate the Heart of Ice and then swing Sledge this turn, so... If Evan has any defense reactions, or even wanted to use Oldham, he'd actually have to pay a lot more, which would ruin his hand economy during his turn. So... Defending 2. Yeah, it's about... Oh, wait, no. One of the... Oh, so he's defending with the... That's right. He's got the Forge 4 out, so he can defend with the equipment and get that extra value out for it. Honestly, if I were Evan, I would probably block with one of the other equipment. I guess he wants to save it for later to get the most value out of it and keep a full hand to see what you can do. Unless, of course, you just got a bunch of blue ice cards, in which case you're not really getting much value out of that anyway. So, fun fact for those of you who don't know why he hasn't broken the Ironhide boots, they only break if you pay the one to activate its ability, not if you defend with it. With, let's say, Forged 4, if you were to have to force block with a Magnetic Shockwave, for example. So, no breaking until you activate its effect to pump it. Which is just another cool interaction, kind of like with the Shield 2, where technically you can defend with it with Forged, even though it has no pump to it until you pay for it. Ooh. I don't know if I agree with Tom using or blocking with the Spinal Crush. Ooh, Sigil. I don't know if I agree with blocking with high damage like base cards, because especially in the mirror match, that's kind of where you get the most value out of getting more cards out of your opponent's hand. Ooh, swinging with Command and Conquer and a Heart of Ice. But yeah, when you have a card like Endless Winter, Spinal Crush, and even Glacial Footsteps, it forces your opposing Oldhim to defend with more cards from their actual deck, which kind of fatigues them out faster than it does if you were to say, what's it called? Just attack with like the Sledge even, because it pushes through that extra damage on one single card. So you may be giving up a card from your deck as well as compared to the Sledge. But that extra card that may push through damage against them or force them to block an extra would prevent them from swinging back unless they take the health hit. Alright. So, yep, crown, just like always. He did have to pay 2 for that to go ahead and activate it, but I don't think that's really a problem since he doesn't have the shield to pump or anything else that he's going to pump it with. Yep, and equipment block, so he's blocking a total... Yeah, Command and Conquer is actually terrible against Oldhim because the Crown of Seeds is the thing, so it'll never threaten to destroy the Arsenal. It may disrupt a play, like if they were planning to use the Arsenal card for next turn, but it's never going to be, like, destroyed thanks to the Crown of Seeds. Of course, this is Blitz, so there's no siding out cards from the main deck, only your equipment. And of course they had to allow that because otherwise Kano would just run amok if you chose not to devote all your a bunch of equipment slots to that. So Tom opting to block 3 right now. He's probably got something in hand that he wants to make the most of to try and push through this damage. Evan does actually have less health right now than Tom does. So what's it called? Activating the Heart of Ice to start. You could say in the long run that Tom kind of has the upper hand right now. He's pitching. He's got a bunch of So Tomorrows. And that's what I was saying. I think Tom is running a higher Earth line to make the Channel Mount Heroics more feasible. I do wonder what other cards he's playing that would be, how you say, like, really... Oh, what's it called? That extra little bit that you could play with them. Like cards that would benefit from Channel Mount Heroic to go possibly wide on Oldhim. To not only have the option to go more defensive and Fabtcg, but also being able to threaten those high damage turns and all the cards out of your opponent's hand. Hey, what's up? AJ's back?
Hello.
Alright, so surprisingly, this Oldhim match is definitely not going to what would be normally considered time, because Tom and Evan are deciding to go a little more aggro on each other, and the Sledge of Anvilheim is doing more work than I gave it credit for, to be honest.
Yeah, and they're both playing it, which is super interesting. I stood over there waiting for the line to go down a little bit, but I was like, wow, both on Sledge of Anvilheim. That whole, like, infinite loop question is not even going to come up at all.
Nope. I mean, not that it wasn't a valid thing to be worried about, you could say, because, you know, I've seen it happen.
Oh, yeah.
I think that one time it was Tom versus someone else. The fact that Oldhim can loop to himself, so that if you're just swinging for the 4 damage, Winter's Wail, but you have the shields, the Crown of Seeds, and his Earth defense reaction, you don't give up any cards to block the hammer in that scenario. So you can technically get to a point at the end of the game where both Oldhims are just looping and not taking any damage from each other infinitely.
Endless Winter coming out on Evan's side.
Yep, I was just talking about how the front-loaded cards like Spinal and Endless Winter provide, I think, a little bit more of an efficient way, even more than Sledge, even though it's only like a 2 or 3 damage difference, to start fatiguing out your opponents or threatening damage. Because as soon as they, let's say for example, as soon as you have to choose to defend against that, you have to give up at least 3 cards if you want to prevent taking damage entirely, and that's just fatiguing you out a lot faster. Oh, and this is a fused Endless Winter too, so whatever he defends with, it's going to make his next turn, like, probably too expensive to even swing the hammer if he wants to avoid taking damage. Tom thinking long and hard about what he wants to do. Probably, I mean, he's playing Oldhim. He's going to start with the Crown, right? That is how they all start out.
Yeah, a lot of times, I mean, that Crown of Seeds is just, it's worth so much life over the course of the game, right? I mean, as many times as they're going to activate it.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to how, like, what card you want to arsenal to be a target for the Crown of Seeds. If it's not a card that's a defense react, like, you want to make sure that no defense. It's kind of surprising because most people want to arsenal defense reactions so they can play it more easily, or play it even against the dominated attacks. But in Oldhim, you actually don't want to arsenal. If you're going for the fatigue strategy, you don't want to arsenal the defense reactions, because then if you activate the Crown, then you're losing the entire value of the defense reaction from there when it goes to the bottom of your deck. So you want to arsenal stuff like attacks you want to save for later, or cards that are just kind of like weak at the time otherwise, or cards that you fused with on the previous turn for like a Endless Winter, for example. That way it cycles itself out, and hopefully you get defense reactions you can use from hand, unless you know you're going up against someone that dominates a lot. But it's situational. Tom taking his sweet time to decide how he wants to defend this. I don't blame him, because when it's fused, it does really mess up the math on your turn. But I think if he defends with 2 cards and gets 2 Frostbites, he can still swing with Sledge, as long as the last 2 cards in hand are blue cards. Yep, there it is. 2 blues. Still swing with Sledge.
Yeah, a lot of times that Frostbite really just doesn't come into play as much in the mirror, just because exactly for this reason. I mean, if they're playing Sledge of Anvilheim, they're just going to swing it anyway, unless you can get multiple Frostbites out on them.
True, but like I just said, the fact that he only defended with 2 cards means that he did take 2 damage. And that may not seem like a lot, like, right now, but, like, every bit of damage against the Oldhim, especially in Blitz, really counts. So the Endless Winter putting in work, getting that little extra damage in, and making it so that the swing back is more manageable by comparison. Yep, and there's the Crown of Seeds. And swinging back with Sledge of Anvilheim. You know, it's going to be kind of what we're going to be seeing most of this game, unfortunately, in terms of, like, a, you know, viewer standpoint. But to these two, this, I mean, well, when you're trying to win and trying to get into that top two for the next round, every little bit of health you save or every play you make that might look underwhelming to us kind of, like, pushes forward that win condition. Now, the other benefit I just kind of realized when it comes to them both playing Sledge is that they actually can't get to the infinite loop that we were talking about earlier with the Winter's Wail, because the Sledge is always going to hit for a little bit more damage, and they don't have shields, so that they can't just, like, keep pitching to block all of the damage. So, thankfully in this scenario we won't have to worry about that. Of course, there's no time limit in top 8, or top 4 in this case. But we would like them not to, take all day.
Right, you're still expected to play at any tournament. You're still expected to play at a comfortable pace. You're given a little bit more time to think because there is no time limit, but especially your TOs and your judges and your store staff would like to go home at a reasonable pace.
I got other crap to do, I got a whole day I can use somewhere else as well. Not that I don't enjoy being here, of
Wow,
course.
and the pummel on top of the Sledge of Anvilheim, making it 10 damage.
Oof. Now, I mean, Oldham still has defense reactions just built into his ability, so... And since Evan's not playing the Heart of Ice, he's not gonna...
So this is 10, and is Tom only blocking for 4 currently? That would be exact.
Yes, he is blocking only for 4, but he definitely... There's no... I'd be surprised if he doesn't have an Earth reaction.
I don't know, he might not have been expecting the red pummel.
We'll see.
Oh, I do see an Earth card in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is going to have to use it.
I was just talking about, since he plays Channel Mount Heroic, he probably plays more Earth cards than your average Oldham player.
Right, and he's expecting to fuse his Oak and Olds as well, but...
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he has a
sigil.
sigil. Okay. All right, well, it looks like Tom's taking this next turn off.
I mean, he still has 1 card in hand. Oh, he doesn't play...
I was going to say Sledge costs a little bit
I
more.
always
Winter's
assume
Wail.
they're playing Winter's Wail.
Yeah. That was the one thing I was mentioning earlier. It's the trade-off. Like, you always have that guaranteed 6 damage on it if you can pitch 2 cards, but you have to have 2 cards. Now, like I said, we got the Oldham Mirror here, but to look forward to in the next round, we've got Briar versus Dorinthia. So we're going to have one of those more aggro classes versus Oldham for the final match, at least, which will be hopefully... I don't know which one I want to see more. We definitely see Briar a lot more these days, but Dorinthia is something we don't see
It was
as
fun to
often.
see Dorinthia again, I'm not going to lie. It was kind of like a good throwback to the old days.
Oh, yeah. Especially... what's it called? In my match, the only thing that was different is that back in the day, you didn't die to your own blood debt as much against Dorinthia.
Oh, that happened on stream, and I was sad.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's like, I already know some, hopefully, if we start doing this, once a month kind of, Blitz events, then I do already know what changes I'd make to the Levia deck specifically. Having Ghostly Visit and Howl from the Beyond in a shorter time span type of match just ruins your ability to do those long chain combos to close out the game fast. And it's like, well, I drew a bunch of reds that don't at least, activate my other abilities for, discarding off of Blood Rush or something like that. And it's like, well, I guess I just kind of lose because of lack of resources.
Right.
Underwhelming cards. But we'll see next time I bring it around. And it looks like... still trying to defend this one Hammer Swing. Tom's giving it a lot of thoughts, obviously, because they're getting close to running out of threats and getting close to... Oh, he's going down to 1 health? Wow. I was actually not expecting that this early, but I guess even the Oldham players get kind of tired of, stalling it out. Oh, he's got the Channel Mount Heroic, that's why. Oh, is that E-Strike for 10? That is E-Strike for 10, I'm betting. So Tom's coming in with the heavy-hitting play to go ahead and start with this turn and hopefully going into next turn for him. Evan will probably be able to defend a good portion of this, but it is going to require a lot of cards out of his hand. Did Evan use a sigil himself to go to 10 health as well?
Because he was... so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sigil's in Graveyard.
Yep, there it is. Alright, so Evan choosing to block 4, maybe 5. No.
Yeah, 4 damage.
4 damage, so taking 6. Tom gave up a lot for this gamble to go down to 1 health, so hopefully he has something, or he can defend out whatever Evan's about to do. Oh no!
That's not good.
Just the opposite. No.
7 Tear Asunder. I mean, it's gonna require quite a lot.
Wait. Yeah, I was gonna say.
He doesn't have enough.
yeah, you can't do that.
Oh,
Sledge
no,
costs too
Evan's
much.
turn is... I guess Tom's gonna let him take it back, even though Evan was like, hey, you don't have to let me take it back for sure.
It's like I was saying earlier when he was letting Evan find this sledge that I forgot to give him. He was like, Tom's a Chad. He wants to make sure that the match going back and forth is a true test of like skill and effort. He wants to make sure his opponent's at his max potential when he goes up against him. So yeah, letting him take it back to see what would actually happen going into this turn, and seeing how Tom can react to it and go into a strong turn with the Channel Mount Heroic off. Yep, that is one of the downsides to Sledge, though, is that when it costs so much, you can't even use, like, a 2-blue Tear Asunder or something like that. If he had saved his Arsenal or something to maybe use Crown with the leftover floating resources, he probably could have played it, but unfortunately not today. Alright, Tom was able to keep his Arsenal into his turn, so we'll be able to see... Oh, no, wait. No, is it his turn? No, it's still Evan attacking, sorry. Tom using Crown of Seeds and trying to decide how he wants to defend. Honestly, if I were Tom, he's still got 1 defense on 2 of his equipment, and I would just break the... Oh, he's still got the boots, too. He can defend with a lot of that there, so he can keep cards in hand and make the most out of the channel. That would probably be the best thing he can do. Of course, I can't speak for him. We'll just have to see what he chooses to do. Oh, he played an Awakening. Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely don't see that very often.
Nope. And he definitely... I think he has a Pulse of Eisenloft, which is what
Six Seismic Surge tokens. Mm-hmm. That's so interesting. It's so funny going from back when... back in like Welcome to Wraith, when like we just never assumed you needed more than 2, just from the, and that was just due to the mechanics of Seismic Surge. It never, like, you never had 2 at one point.
Yeah, one to put into the pitch zone and one for the like one if you decide to create a new one. So nope.
Oh wow. So
yeah,
it's coming in for 11
because of the freaking channel. Holy cow!
So it was
Tom's gamble, I think, paid off here.
11 with Dominate, and that is maybe gonna do it.
I can tell you right now it is, because unfortunately Evan decided to go for an Oldham list that does not play as many defense reactions. He doesn't even have Staunch Blue in his deck.
So that's gonna be 3, 4. I mean, he could have Pulse, and I think.
Oh yes,
Pulse.
if he did have Pulse, he would be able. No, because he just defended with a card. So
that's 3, 4.
Yeah, he definitely defended it out.
Yeah, and he takes 3 and goes to 1.
Ooh.
Lose the last 2 cards in your hand. So Evan was actually able to hold on.
Yo, props to that play though with the Awakening with Channel Mount Heroic out. That's disgusting. I can't believe Evan lived that, to be honest. Like I said, I know he doesn't play any defense reactions besides Sink Blow in his deck, so he didn't have like anything like Turn Timber or Staunch to go ahead and pump over while it's dominated. But yeah, Oldham proving that even without that, he can still survive on a very slim margin of health. All right, starting off with the Channel Lake Frigid this time into Sledge of Anvilheim. This is kind of great for Tom because, like, no matter what Evan does... Evan uses his Pulse to defend that. That's crazy. I guess it's to be expected because now Evan needs the extra... Make sure he has the extra resource on top of that now for the Sledge. And he can't use Oldham's defense reaction without giving up 2 cards. Yeah, Evan's in a really tough position. They're both at 1, but Tom's definitely on the... What's it called? Tom's definitely on the lead right now. having more cards in hand to work with each turn, and having that channel to make it so Evan has less to work with on his turn. It's going to be hard to see how Evan comes back, but anything's possible, especially with Oldham holding out until God knows how long in these games. Yeah, and then we got the, like I said, top 2 is going to be against a more aggro matchup this time. Yep, there's the turn Timber, for example. That would have been great for Evan against the Oakenolds last turn, but, you know, it's kind of a trade-off, especially in Blitz. Do you want to go heavily defensive and then just risk getting bricked or not being able to close out the game, or do you play a little more aggro and risk dying before your opponent? It's a very hard trade-up. Who do you guys hope to see in the next round, though? You guys hope to see Dorinthia or Briar against Oldham? To be honest, like, Alex is the one on Briar, so I hope he does well, but I would like to see Dorinthia, just because I don't see it that often these days. Yeah, and that's Matt Pollitt on the Dorinthia today. Now you guys already know. If you watched the first round we streamed today and saw him destroy... Well, I guess you could say saw him survive long enough for me to kill myself on Levia, then you already know. We out here dying to our own mistakes in life, boys. Starting off with a So tomorrow. I don't think that was that from Arsenal? I did not notice if that was from Arsenal. He might just be trying to save or get back the... Oh yeah, it was from Arsenal because he drew a card. Getting back the Oakenold so he can close out the game with another dominated attack. Honestly, that's worth its weight in gold here in these matches against another... Oh. Never mind, he's got the Terra Sunder. You just gotta pitch a blue and go into, what's it called? Oh, and he can activate the Heart of Ice, too, to make Evans... Oh, yeah, this is game. Heart of Ice and Channel on the field before a Terra Sunder comes down. Evans gotta pay for the, what's it called? Pay for the Crown of Seeds now if he wants to get any value out of it. Oh, and it's an Endless Winter! Not even the Sledge. That's disgusting. Okay. Yep, that's game. Tom's aggressive Oldham deck paid off. That Gambit... Oh, that Oaken Old turn with the Awakening was disgusting. I have to ask him what his list is later. That 11 damage and then now 9 damage dominated with the Terra Sunder. You know, I always bash So Tomorrow in Oldham because I feel like compared to other Earth cards you could play and get use out of, it's kind of the weakest on there. But having that extra floating resources to be able to Terra Sunder into the Endless Winter... well, turned out to be just what he needed to close out the game, so. That'll do it for now. I don't think we have word back on the other two, despite it being an aggro versus aggro matchup. But we'll go ahead and see who won won that round to get back to you soon with the finals for this. I think we are actually playing for one of the Christmas Bauble mats, which is fitting since this is one of the last weeks... Or, no, this is the last week we have before Christmas. So I don't think we'll be having too many players here next week. You know, Sunday right after Christmas. I think a lot of people would rather spend time with their families than come out for another Armory, despite it being, you know, one of the best games around, I think we can all agree. But, yeah, let's go ahead and see who our finalists are and get right into that match. Talk to you soon. All right, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. We're in the
What
final
a
round.
dang.
Looks like the Dorinthia was able to pull it out on the last round against the Briar player.
Dorinthia got 1 damage through. We see a 7 attack coming on the board right now.
Tom back to the more classic setup with the Winter's Wail and the shield, of course. Now that he's not up against another Oldham. So Evan, you were playing that last match and got caught up. Probably got caught off by surprise by that Channel Mount Heroic.
I actually knew
nonsense.
he already had channels because he told me. I was like, ooh.
You know it, but then you forget to expect it on things like the Endless Winter Fuse or the Oak and Old Fuse, especially. That's probably the more disgusting one.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it was a pretty close game. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, almost could have won.
I was just saying, like, I knew your list didn't play, like, any of the heavy defense reactions because you're, I guess, playing for the more consistent ice stuff.
It's literally just, like, every turn you're pretty much blocking the, like... You're trying to keep... Your main goal is you want to keep 2 cards in hand, so you have a Whale Pitch plus an Arsenal for next turn.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But over anything else, you value the Arsenal. Like, pretty much, you're always going to deck your opponent out because your deck is, like, really efficient at, like, blocking and saving cards.
Yeah, of
So
course.
if they're swinging into you every turn, they're going to be wasting a lot more cards than you will.
Yeah, of course.
And you also have the added pressure from the Winter's Wail, which adds onto it. And your opponent needs to keep in mind closing the combat chain because of that shield, which can increase in defense.
Yeah, and I definitely know that from playing Oldham myself, like in the Calling and in Nationals, is like, it really works. But one of the problems I saw was that during the, what's the word I'm looking for? During one of the matches against a chain player, like, not going aggressive enough, let him, not get back in it. It let him banish a whole bunch of cards, take a little bit of blood debt, and save up for the one turn that I just would not be able to save myself from.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Usually it does take a lot to get to that turn, though, especially, like, how Oldhams are now.
Yeah, but when you're chain, and you know, like, I feel like you practice for that.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely practice for that.
So you definitely want to have some aggression in your Oldham deck. And you do. You have the pummels and stuff, so that's always gross.
Honestly, this deck's not very aggressive at all. It's literally just block out.
Well, you don't even play Spinal Crushes. That's the part that surprised me, is that it didn't at least have Spinal. That's such a that's such a good Majestic for any Guardian player.
I'm telling you, bro, it's literally you block out, swing hammer. That's the entire deck.
You can still block out with Spinal, though. It's a block 3 still.
I know, you don't want to add that many reds in. If I was going to add it, I'd either... I think I'm going to cut the pummels for the Channel Heroics, because those are kind of fire. But
you need to add more Earth cards.
You have to change the deck up.
Yeah, you'd have to balance the
pummels
ice.
Are fine. I think I want to cut.
Trying to cut what?
I don't know what I want to cut from it. Probably
pummels?
Channel Mount Heroic's cool. Pummels are cool. There's a lot of 2 blocks in the deck, just like inherently, because not Everfest, Tales of Aria.
Yeah. Well, just all the ice cards, yeah. Anything that has an extra effect on it, that's
like,
not a class-specific card.
It's like, it feels bad.
Yeah, it's real...
Ryan, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back. Hopefully I don't miss the entire game.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, folks. You've heard it here first, folks. Evan's going to the restroom, so I'll take over for now.
Good luck, Ryan.
Oh my god. Just dropped my phone on the table, too. Hope you guys like that reverb right there. Alright, now we've had a lot of turns where me and Evan are just talking about anything else but what's going on, so let's get back into the match here. Pitching Pulse of Eisenloft for the Winter's Wail right now. He has a couple cards in hand. If that's the only ice card, I guess that's why you would pitch that. But I feel like on turns where you have, what's the word I'm looking for? The choice to keep Pulse in hand or pitching it for anything else, like you want to try and keep it in case you can get that Oak and Old to play off. But again, that might just be the only ice card he has in hand. And a perfect block from a Sink Below, so... definitely can't underestimate the Sink Belows even in Blitz. Like, you might have to worry about going up against Kano with them, but, I mean, it's just such an efficient block against, like, everyone else. Able to end with an Arsenal card as usually do with Oldham, or at least try to. Let's see how Matt responds, because he blocked out with a single card, which means he's got Well, he's got 3 to 4 cards in hand, depending on if he had an arsenal or not. Sharpened Steel, classic opening. I will say it didn't feel that bad when I was playing against the Warrior earlier. Like, I know I was playing Levia, and I know I kind of got, like, killed by my own mechanics. But against the Warrior itself, I didn't feel, like, too pressured like I used to back in the day, or back when Rob was playing Dorinthia back in the skirmish days before Monarch and, or right after Monarch. But back in the day when Rob was climbing the ladder with his Dorinthia deck. Oh, man, those were scary times. I can't remember how I got around it. In those days, I think I just tried... I can't even remember what I played back in skirmish. I think I played mostly Rhinar and tried to go for like one of those one-turn like crazy combos with the Bloodrush Bellow and everything. Just try and close the game out in a single turn or two. So yeah, that's a Sharpened Steel into a Warrior's Valor. So if this hits, it's going to get go again. I don't see any more cards on in Matt's hands, because he just had to pitch 2 for that. So I don't think he has any like attack reactions he can do tricks with. So he's just coming in for like just a huge 9. If he does have at least one floating resource, he will be able to crack the Refraction Bolters if it does hit. But nah, Tom's got the Earth Defense and Defense Turn Timber in his hand, so there's no way any of that damage is getting through.
Ryan, you want water?
Oh, I got one, thanks. Evan back. Evan, how was the restroom?
It was good.
You make sure not to fall in this time.
I did.
That's good. All right, so you just missed it. Matt did a 9 damage turn with his sword, or around 9 damage, but he had to pitch 2 of his cards, so he didn't have any tricks to play on top of it.
So Tom full blocked it out.
I mean, you see the turn timber.
We'll see the classic.
You see the
swing
turn
hammer.
timber.
Yeah, true. We'll see the classic swing hammer arsenal card. Tom's at 22 too.
Yeah, he played the sigil, but I mean, Matt's still at 20 as well, or maybe even higher. I know he played a sigil at one
I gotta be
point.
honest though, like I don't really worry about life. I wouldn't worry about life if I was Tom in this matchup. Like, of course you want to keep your life total high, but really I think you're gonna win the game by decking your opponent out and then just swing hammer.
I wonder how you break through the Oldham as a Dorinthia.
Twinning blades and having very big turns, but it's hard too with like ice reacts and.
Yes and
Especially
no.
if
I mean,
your
if you
opponent
get
has
the Steel
experience.
Blade Supremacy and get the... Does he have Iron Song Determination? That's the big thing.
I don't know about in hand right now, but I would assume probably.
No, yeah, that's what I mean in general. Like, Iron Song Determination to put the Dominate on, and then you get Steel Blade Supremacies through and with an attack reaction ready in hand. That's kind of your big turn.
For sure.
Honestly, like, when you know you have it, or you know you're setting it up, you make sure to defend with the Courage of the turn before, and then crack it, because then it's, like, one less resource you have to worry about. Oh, that'd be disgusting. You can do it, and then if you draw off the Steel Blade Supremacy, it's like, oh, look, I got my Twinning Blade, so then...
It's really just
oh,
hoping,
that turn could be so disgusting.
it's really just hoping you can full block as Tom. Matt's obviously hoping you push, like, some damage through, get one over the top, get the draw, gain the go again. He does have the Refraction Bolters for that clutch go again, too.
Mm-hmm. You know, I almost wonder sometimes if I want to play Dorinthia for those kind of crazy turns, but I actually... You know what's funny? I'm missing 2 legendaries still from Welcome to Wraith, and one of them's the
Brave Forge Racers?
Brave Forge
They're
Racers,
pretty cheap, on the bright side.
Yeah.
It's like a $50, $60 legendary, I think.
Maybe a little more now with people are kind of like overhyping the Welcome to Wraith going out of print. But yeah, it's that and Mask of Momentum are the 2 legendaries I don't have from Welcome to Wraith. Actually, technically you could say I don't have the Tunic either. I have the Tunic from Crucible, so... Still missing my Tunic from Welcome to Wraith. Gotta hurry if I want to get that foil version. Disgusting. Oh, Spinal Crush coming in. Spinal Crush is one of the scariest things you could see as a warrior, unfortunately, because...
Turns off the non-attacks, basically.
It turns off the non-attacks and any extra weapon swings. Now, I mean... Actually, you know what? I take that back. Warrior can operate solely on attack reactions for a turn, and those don't get blocked by the Spinal Crush.
That's true.
So... I don't think he wants to take
9 damage though. Like
I was gonna say I don't think he
in
wants.
the first place.
I don't think he wants to take any free damage right
Like
now.
honestly, what I'd like to see from Matt is he does have like a good card he wants to set up in his like pitch. I would say like block 9 here. Maybe just pitch swing.
Yeah,
Seems
that's
fine.
exactly what I'm saying. It depends on his arsenal or what
Especially
he has
because
in his hand.
Tom's going into his turn without an arsenal, which like could leave room for Matt to like block with courage and block like courage, Brave Forge Bracers, and then like a card from hand, and then hopefully be able to do stuff on his next turn. Because Tom doesn't have like the versatility of Crown in this next turn. I think, right? He has no cards.
No.
Okay.
Giving up Route, though, that's actually kind of smart early game, I think. I think Route's like kind of more of like a late game closer.
For sure.
To be fair, against Oldham, if they commit to like a turn Timber, for example, you just kind of like throw it back in their hand.
Yeah.
And then they have to pitch it again to use it. So it's like...
And you still can get damage through that. So it is +3, plus they're losing. They're probably going to end up losing their like fuse card to pay for it.
Yeah. Oh, this is such a tough decision because like I don't know what it's because we're just the audience. We don't know what's in Matt's hand or what's what he's thinking about. So.
We do see Matt. He's blocking for 3. Like I assume if he commits another card, his hand's turn probably isn't that good.
Definitely not. But at the same time, it's not
He
going to
also
be.
does have like the Courage of Bladehold can also like allow him to block a card, like block a Winter's Wail, and then still be able to like.
Ooh, getting rid of a Spoils for War. That's a really good card to be giving up all of a sudden.
For real.
We might just see him do the sword swing and then maybe some sort of trick on top with his hand to save his arsenal for some big play. But
Yeah. Or play the Arsenal different card.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard though, just because like you can't really stack counters versus Oldham because eventually they'll be able to block it out. Unless you just draw the straight Fuego nuts.
Yeah. Hopefully we get something here. I just want to know what's in his arsenal now because he's clearly going to be saving that for something. What could it be? All right, vanilla sword swing. You know what you do against these, Evan?
3-2 floating.
Yep. You know what you do against these, Evan?
What do you do versus when you overblock it?
You don't.
Are you that guy?
You don't block it.
I think it's
If
correct.
it's not lethal, if they have an attack reaction, you don't block it. Yep. It's just 3 damage, man. Like it's not. He's gonna Oldham defense react, so he's gonna take 1. That's actually okay too.
Yeah, that's
because it's
fine.
not actually blocking the sword to give it like reprisal.
I hope we see like a chant. I wonder if he's keeping 3 cards in hand here. We'll probably see like either a bigger turn with a pummel or like
An E strike.
E strike.
That's gonna be E strike into hammer swing probably. Yep.
Yeah,
5
E strike
go
go
again.
again, and then hammer swing. That's like a lot of pressure. It's 9 damage turn with the possibility of frost.
Actually, can I be honest here? This might be the turn that Matt's looking for, depending on what's going to happen, because he could take the 5 and then block with the Courage and Brave Forge Bracers to a perfect 4 on the hammer swing and crack the Courage if he's got the turn in hand.
If you're Tom
The
here,
turn.
If you're Tom here, do you Arsenal's card or you swing the hammer? I think you have to swing the hammer anyway, but I think it really just depends on like what Matt does in response to this E strike. Like if he blocks it.
Nope, see, I told you, he's taking
So
it.
you'll see the hammer swing. Probably.
Yeah, there's no way you get... Yeah,
Yeah,
there it
there
is.
it is.
Oh! Call me...
I would like... How much
Ooh.
health is Matt at? Is he at 11? Okay, good. He does block the skull cap.
Yeah, that's
Definitely better.
Especially if he goes ahead at some point.
Yeah,
so.
which I mean, like, as you get later in the game, there's a good chance he will, just because, like... I don't know how much Tom will be blocking now, especially with, like, this big of a hand that Matt's gonna come in with. He's got 4
He also
and basically free sword swing.
Yeah, he also doesn't have Crown of Seeds right now, but Tom does play some of the defense reactions like Turn Timber and Staunch probably, so this is gonna be interesting
I'm gonna
at the
add
very
Staunch
least.
into my Oldham deck.
Oh, there it is. There it is, the Dominate.
Iron Song,
Oh!
Warrior's Valor. It's fine. Like even without the
Wait.
see sword swing.
No Steelblade Supremacy though, or Iron Song. Wait.
He does still have 2 left, and he actually is saving his courage, which is good. I think like
Yeah.
being able to split up your big cards into several different turns is gonna be probably the way Matt wins this game.
Yeah, but the
7,
determination.
dominate on hit, go again.
Yeah, these determination turns are Iron Song. Wait, I get all these Iron Song cards.
It's
from
Iron Song
different-
determination. It's,
Okay, yeah, I'm making sure I get the
+1.
right one. Yeah, these turns are like the Dominate is.
When you were saying
specifically
Iron Song
interesting.
earlier, I was thinking about what's it called? Iron Song Response.
Yeah, response, and then there's Steelblade Supremacy. And then Glint the Quicksilver plus Routes are the ones from Welcome to Wraith, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom... Oh, yeah, Tom still has all of his equipment. Okay.
He's got the fridge. Brr. So icy.
Yeah, Tom needs pitch for 2 of those cards to have any defense value right now. But, yeah, this might actually be what
Do you see
Matt
pitch
is...
Pitching a mulch.
Yeah, this might be what Matt was waiting for. Getting the full defense, or getting him to block with all this stuff, so that when he goes in for the real turn, he can't.
Defend, like,
He
just
can't-
throw his fridge at it.
Yeah, he can't just throw the fridge at it.
Like I said, this is good. I mean, like, even though he's probably not
Ooh, out for blood.
after blood, it's +3.
Yeah, he doesn't have any resources floating, so that's kind of weird that he did that. Just on the... Well, I mean, I guess pushing damage through when you dump the fridge is still kind of good.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, getting damage through here isn't bad. We still will see Tom keeping 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Unless he does block this next sword swing for, I think it'll be for 4.
Oh, and he's
he
cracking-
pops the courage for it.
Oh,
That
okay.
feels kind of bad, especially in the closes of the combat chain. But
Yeah,
what
I
can
mean,
you
he gets
do?
the plus... He's still got the dominate. He gets the +1 from the...
so it's for 5 here.
So it's for 5, yeah. He's
Which
got
is
the plus
actually
from...
like super clutch because
That's just over... Especially after Tom gave up all that stuff.
is it? I thought it should be for 5. Oh, he didn't block for the card from hand, so Alfred Blood didn't give it the +1.
Oh, there
it's
wasn't a
only
card
for
from
4.
hand. That's crazy. Yo, I didn't
Yeah.
notice. I thought just somewhere buried in all those cards there was something.
No, it was the whole fridge. So all that blocks for 6 plus this shield.
Ooh,
We will
I,
see the shield here. Tom does have 1 floating, so he can go. Or actually, it doesn't matter if he wasn't floating. He just goes 3 block shield.
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was saying. The courage pop here like really sucked for Matt, just because like it does close the combat chain, giving Tom another chance to block with his equipment.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I wouldn't have done that then, like this whole turn. Like Tom's taking a bit to decide.
Yeah,
so
I
there
would
is
have
something.
definitely just popped the courage off the rip, because then if you keep that 1 floating, it makes Tom think like, oh, he probably has the attack react in arsenal.
Yo, what if he? Oh wait, what if he does? What if he has some
So
crazy
see,
reaction in
3,
Arsenal?
block 3 here. I think Tom's just trying to keep the pressure on. He's just gonna sword swing, or not sword swing, hammer swing the next turn.
Nope. I guess okay. Well, all the equipment blocks are gone for Tom's side. So honestly, I mean, I guess that could do for like in terms of what Matt wants. That's actually like his best case scenario. Like even more than the courage pop, going into that turn where he really wants to combo off. Ooh, that's gonna be a big 7 right there from the Enlightened Strike.
Big 7.
That's not great though on Tom's side.
Honest.
Oh,
it's a
draw
5
card.
draw a card to get the arsenal, which
That's-
I really like that, to be honest.
That's even worse in my opinion. So here's the reason why that's a problem is that if Matt is okay just face tanking the damage, he's gonna have 5 cards to work with next turn.
Yeah, I don't know. I like
Tom?
the draw card here, to be honest. Like, I think
Well-
if Matt's not gonna block it in the first place, he's gonna take 7 or 5. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. The draw card is better than the
than the 7 for sure. 'Cause
Yeah,
he-
but I can only assume that he didn't have an ice card to pitch for the
Oh
Winter's
yeah,
Wail.
for sure. Because if he did, he would just go
Winter's Wail to at least threaten a little bit of disruption as well.
get the
Because
frost,
Warriors,
get the
Warriors,
Frosty boy.
yeah, Warriors have a very specific hand economy they need to work with most of the time.
Yeah,
So you having to pay 1 more for anything can really disrupt their turn.
for sure, dude. It's like getting a Channel Lake out versus a Dory is just like, oh, you lose. It's like getting a Channel Lake out versus almost any deck is like,
Any deck that needs
Great.
any deck that needs multiple cards to do what they're trying to do against another Guardian where
It doesn't even
everything's
multiple
focused
card.
on 1 card,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
stops like Seismic Surge and stuff though, and other goofy cards, but
Well, it stops them from being useful, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so we got the Warrior's Valor to start. He's playing the yellows, which is why it's only coming in for 5.
I think
But-
yellow's fine. The card's so good.
Yellow-
You
yeah,
definitely
yellow's
just play
fine.
all
It-
6.
Threatening Go Again is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pay
So-
2 for Driving Blade, for example.
It's like I'm pretty sure here we'll probably just end up seeing Tom go like Shield Crown 3 block, and then
Yeah, but then we're going to see whatever Matt has in terms of reactions.
yeah, it's true.
Funny enough, Tom will still have the option to at least Oldhim react, but if it's a red, then it's still going to come over for 1 unless he has like another
Yeah,
like
and I don't even
defense
know
reaction.
like does Oldhim even or does the store even like bother playing yellow Iron Songs? Probably blue because it is a blue pitch.
Yeah, definitely blue because it's a blue block 3 and it's still a reaction when you need it.
Yeah,
But not yellow. You don't middle ground
it's like
that
dude,
card.
I got bodied by a Rob the King Seagull by a blue.
Yeah,
Iron
so
Song.
I was talking about that while you were in the restroom. Yeah, Rob being the last person I really had to worry about playing Warrior against in certain during that skirmish season especially.
For real, dude. Even at Road to Net season, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Rob was a little demon with the Dory.
Yeah, that was before he switched over with the once Prism became more of a relevant thing, especially at our locals though. That's when he switched to Bravo because it was just
Which is kind of funny because it's like you still take like an auto loss to Prism.
yeah,
Even if you switch your decks, but
yeah, kinda. Yeah,
I like the chance on Bravo more than I do Dory though, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. But comparing the two,
I wouldn't want to do either, but
yeah, no, comparing the two of them, yeah, the Bravo still has a better chance against Prism. Because, I mean, when you're playing Dory, you can't break any of those Phantasms, and whenever you swing against, like, a Genesis or something, that's, like, your entire turn. You don't have any other attacks to use
yeah,
against
when
it.
Rob was playing in CC, like, he won one with Bravo, and, like, the next week played Dory at one, and, like, he was playing mech, but I know he had, like, Phlox, E-Strikes, CNCs in his deck, too, to try to deal with that, what's it called?
Oh, wait. Tom let it go through.
Oh.
We finally got to the damage part here, and Tom just let the damage go through with the go again.
3.
You know what's crazy?
Can you get the counter here? I don't think you can. Unless Tom is like... Tom has to have Oakenhold in hand, dude. He's got
Oakenhold, Awakening, Channel. He's got something he's trying to close it. Yeah, he's got the Awakening.
Gonna try it. Yep.
Yep. Alright, so that's why he wanted to go low, because he's got the Awakening, he's probably got the Oakenhold in hand. Oh. Oh, well, I guess he doesn't need to fuse. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Endless Winter.
Endless Winter instead.
Wait. Does he have Terra Sunder? Oh, wait.
Can he afford it?
Yes, he has 2 cards in hand. And Endless Winter will be free.
True.
Ooh, that's...
Hi, Brenna. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, no.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the Terra Sunder. Terra Sunder into Endless Winter now.
Yep, it's a 9 dominate. On hit, discard 2 and frost, or like, what is it? On hit, discard 2 and,
create a frostbite free. If it's fused, no, it's not going to be fused because that's going to require every card.
That pitch card, unless he's thinking about doing another thing on his turn.
He'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. I believe him.
Oh my god, yeah, there's no way this isn't a Terra Sunder play. Otherwise, you wouldn't commit to letting Dory get a counter like that.
Yeah, you definitely just 3-block the sword. He could have used the shield here too, as well, just to get like one.
Oh yeah, he could have at least blocked a little bit. Yeah,
because like you still have 4 Siphon Swords, which is enough.
For absolutely. Thing. For the Endless Winter, at least. Yeah.
Hopefully, though, we do see this thing here, the Terra Sunder, and it's probably just like a wrap after that, to be honest.
Oh no, channel that heroic into it. Okay,
that's a lake.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Yes, channel Lake Frigid.
So he's basically going for the attacks. Actually, this isn't bad either, because he still doesn't get to keep the arsenal.
Oh, and Tom still has an extra card in hand. Yeah, if this was a Terra Sunder, he could have played it super easily.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Okay, that's fine.
I think this is fun. I don't think that like him getting the counter here actually matters that much, because like Matt's about to give up like all his hand to do this, and to block this out, and on top of that, he still has the channel like to deal with, which Tom can realistically keep around for like 2 to 3 turns.
Yeah, that's crazy. I
especially
still
like depending on how Matt's turn is, but this Endless Winter was not fused though, unfortunately.
Yeah, so if he does decide to block it out, then he'll just be able to swing with the sword to keep on a little pressure next turn. Yeah. And it will swing for lethal.
It will swing for true. So I mean, Tom's basically looking. He's gonna have to give like at least 2 cards manned.
I feel like unless those cards are like the Steel Blade Supremacies, Glint the Quicksilvers, or any of those closer cards, Matt defends with as much as he can for this turn.
For sure.
Just keep the health lead up while you can before you go in for the kill.
Exactly.
I will say the Awakening coming in clutch for Tom today at least.
Yeah.
Against the aggro matchups, I think it's pretty terrible against like the mirror though. Most of the time. Like it did work against you with the Channel Mat Heroic being out or with the Terra Sunder.
It's like Tom, watch your Tom. I was like, Ryan, watch your language, bro. I just lost to that card.
Hey man, like I said, you lost to it in conjunction with 2 other specific cards, but against other aggro matchups like this,
I
it's
think
not
I still
as
lose that game either way. Probably. I have like nothing left in deck, but it is what it is.
Rip.
I was out of Oakenhold. This was my issue.
Yeah. Sotomaro was shuffling it back in for Tom though, even though he closed out the game the same turn. But
yeah. It does bottom it. I guess I could have done that too, but it's just hard. It's like you want to keep the pressure up with the hammer. You can, and you're realistically only keeping 2 cards in hand.
Oh, the Matt just passing. Okay, he's not even swinging with the sword, so he doesn't even get to
counter.
Yeah, he did defend all of the Endless Winter damage, but just letting his turn pass. I guess that's fine. Depending on what Tom does, it might not
Seismic
matter
Surge,
either way.
Pitch blue or pitch ice card, Seismic Surge, pitch ice card, swing hammer.
Basically.
I think it's about what we're gonna see. Tom still should have one channel like left, right?
He definitely should, yeah.
What's going on in the pogo over there, Ryan?
Just playing out the community today.
Ryan catching all the Pokemon, dude.
Just trying to get that double experience boost. But, yeah, Tom, I don't think has played his other, like, his channel... No, he did play Channel My Heroic at the start of the game, that's right. Didn't he? Crap, I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, you're too busy going to the bathroom. It's fine.
Man gotta pee, you know? Not much more to it. Oh, this kind of is really...
Tom is taking a long time to determine... Oh, he just pitched the channel Mount Heroic there.
I think he pitched it for Crown.
Yes, he did pitch it for Crown, so he's
definitely digging for the 2 ice cards here.
He's either digging for 2 ice cards or he's oh, there you go. Nope, no 2 ice cards.
Yeah, I'm assuming he doesn't.
He is fusing.
He hit one, so he's just gonna... That's an endless winner, right? So,
oh, he hit a Terra Sunder and a Autumn's Touch. So yeah, he wasn't gonna be able to do any of that.
Cannot keep it out. But I mean, like, the endless winner right now is basically just like a beefier Winter's Whale.
Yeah. Although it's not threatening the upfront ice token, it's only threatening the ice token if he activates an ability, like the Sword Swing, of course. Oh yeah, Sword Swing counts. So yeah, it might as well. Might as well be a buffed up Endless Winter, yeah.
And also, like, if Matt blocks it all, he then gets a Frostbite for each one he blocks with.
That's why I'm saying he might just do the same thing depending on what he's got in his hand. Just defend with all the cards except for, like... Oh, defend with 2 cards.
So you see a block 3 here?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take 6. Get 2 Frosty Boys.
Why would you do that, though? You're already getting Frostbites, so you're getting the Frostbites either... Oh, no, he's still deciding.
He's reading it. Double checking. Me too.
Seeing if that tracks, yeah.
Don't know what these cards do, to be honest. I mean, like, I have a general idea of what everything does.
Wait, Endless Winter?
It's like, whenever you put a card in the combat chain for fusing, like, it's a Frostbite, right?
Whenever you defend with a card.
Yeah, whenever you defend. And then the activated
Oh, he took the whole damage.
Okay.
Okay, so Matt should be at 1 health right now. It's hard to see with the glare, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We gotta remind these players to put it close to the camera so we can see it better.
That's why simply having one player be left-handed is just advantageous.
Yep, and now he did. Stop that.
Go tell Danny to stop. That's not me.
Oh, I didn't know if you could turn off. Okay.
It's
Never
over
mind.
there.
Never mind. He took care of it.
It's the landline.
So getting back to the game real quick. He did swing with the sword, create a frostbite. So he should still probably have 2 floating if that's a.
Just for 3, it's like.
You know what I think it is? I think Matt knows he has maybe like a route in hand or something, and he's just gonna like dumpster Tom for the last bit of damage here.
Yeah.
We know that he blocked with a route early, and attack reactions and defense reactions currently have no way to get back into the deck in the game right now.
Indeed. When? LSS. When?
I think there's a specific reason why they don't. They
I
want games to
definitely
close out
don't
instead
think
of go
they
on
would do
indefinitely,
that.
you know? And
It can banish itself like Remembrance.
Well, no, that's not what I meant. I meant like,
I know
yeah.
what you mean.
Just, those are powerful cards that are meant to be used at opportune times. I feel like as part of a design standpoint, it's like that's part of the skill of the game is that, like, once you use the reaction, you don't get to just, recycle it. You don't recycle a reaction in combat.
Like,
You gotta
very
keep
few
adapting.
Cards in the game actually do get like recycled.
Only action cards.
Only
That's
action
it.
cards. It's facts. Not much more to it.
I think there's one instance where something else can be shuffled back, but that's like on a very specific occasion, but I can't remember what it was.
I'm gonna go.
It had to do with Shadow Heroes, I believe.
I'm going with the Thought Tank here. Let's figure out what card can shuffle back other stuff.
Oh, Guardian of the Shadow Realm. There you go. That's the only defense reaction that can be quote unquote recovered.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Very specific.
Imagine if you could play it, dude. Guardian of the Shadow Realm would be such a good card if you just play it from Banished.
Look, Chain's got enough to work with already. We had to ban Seeds.
I was trying to help Levy out, dude.
I know. No, don't get me wrong. That would... Wait. That actually would help Levia more still, because she keeps re-banishing it each
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Chain banishes it once, and then that's it, so... Technically, that would be way better.
It'd be alright in chain. It's like,
Ooh.
it's hard to actually run defense. Ooh, Iron Song response, +3.
Yeah, he does have to pay for it, of course. So he's paying the 1
Wait,
for
do you
that.
see the... Ooh. Turn Timber.
There's no way Matt doesn't have something else. He's got like an overpower or something ready to push through against that.
Got 2 cards in the end. It's like... So
Oh, but
tomorrow
it's
fused.
yeah, but it's turn timber that defends for so much, and
defends
he
for
can
9, and he also has like a extra +2 in hand.
yeah, he's got the +2 on the Oldham's
So
defense.
we
Oh,
see a...
ooh, okay.
Oh,
That's
Singing Steel Blade.
Wait, depending on what else he has in hand, this could be really devastating. Still,
He can actually like grab a route here, and I think he just wins. No, does he? So we got
yes, because then he has to. Well,
route with +3. Tom replays it. He takes 2.
no, you would get rid of the Okanold because you can't redefend with that.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Depending on how the math works out or what other cards he has in hand, if he pushes the Okanold out of the way, then the most Tom can do is respond by putting the...
I think an overpower is better here than a route, though.
Yes and no, because he'd have to give up to the last card in hand, and then the turn is effectively over, because he only has... Oh, no, wait.
I think the overpower...
He's got 3 cards. He's got 3 cards.
Like, literally just kills. He also does have a floating damage
Nope, there's the route. There it is.
So 10, we see a route. So Tom's walking 10 right now. We see a route. It's going to go +3.
Well, I think that's a
Refer
blue
back to
timber, turn timber. Did he play red turn timbers
No,
against you?
it's a blue.
Okay.
It just, he fused it, so it blocks for 6.
Blocks for 6, plus the 3, plus the... Did he seeds?
He did.
Yes, he does. I see the marker over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Matt knows what he's doing, yep, there it is.
Yep.
Put it back.
Putting the thing back.
So that's 3 damage, or that's 3 defense gone. Now Tom can react with the
So we see...
he can defend with the Oldham reaction.
10.
Mm-hmm. AJ cleaning it up so we can see it more clearly.
Right now, and then we'll see probably our Earth react here.
Mm-hmm. And Matt still
Wait,
has
one
last card in hand, so he could push through and kind of close
Does he have
this
another
out.
Iron Song? It's like the question here, basically.
Oh, he's baiting out Tom for whatever he's got. Yep, blocking the 2. All right, moment of truth. What's Matt's last card?
Ooh,
Oh, it is the Iron Song.
4 game. I think, right? Unless Tom is like another...
Nope, it is.
Sleeve.
Yeah, it is for game because the route was already pushing out 3 extra block. That the defense reaction was only putting extra 2
So
on.
see a 9
Yep.
block versus
9 block versus like 13
13?
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Just
perfect.
enough.
The exact amount.
Big dub for Matt Paula, dude.
Yeah.
Taking it down.
That's Dorinthia for you. All it takes is one good turn where you kind of like throw everything out there.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
But yeah, you know what's funny is that another player might, or a less experienced player might have actually tried to get rid of the turn timber, seeing it as the bigger one. But you can play a defense reaction again if it's back in your hand. It just would it would still defend for less though, because you'd have to pitch the Earth card probably to play it. So no fusion.
Oh wait, no, actually he gains more. I think it's actually better to hit the turn timber there, because so here's the thing, right? So the turn timber gains 2 defense from the Sodamara fuse, and
No, because he still had one other card in hand. If that was like even a blue ice card, he'd pay for the blue ice
That's
card
true.
and then turn timber again plus the defense reaction.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
no, Matt made the best play there.
Yeah.
But yeah, good game. Always, I'm actually kind of happy, especially with Welcome to Wraith getting its like farewell event soon, to see Dorinthia kind of back in and playing some.
True.
It's been a while.
It's like Dorinthia is or Blitz is definitely like Dorinthia's format.
Yeah, because Prism definitely doesn't see a lot of play.
Prism sucks in Blitz.
Dude, Oldham sees a lot of play, but even then, like, you can see all it takes is, like, her concentrating the attack reactions that she needs down to the minimum amount, and, yeah, she has an easier time closing games there.
Yeah, that's right.
Insane. But yeah, good job to Matt, Paula, and Tom. Tom making it to the finals still with some pretty spicy Oldham stuff. You know, Channel Mount Heroic and... what was it, Awakening? Yeah, those combo a lot better than I gave it credit for, so maybe something to look out for in the future. Yeah, any last words, Evan? Anything to close out today's stream?
You know what Amazon Prime is, Ryan?
Yes, I do.
So, fun fact, if you have Amazon Prime, for free, you can connect it to your Twitch and get a free sub to any Twitch streamer. Hopefully us, because we're awesome.
Because we'd like to get better equipment to bring you even
please,
better games.
Please. But yeah, hit the sub button if you can.
Yeah, we already
If
got.
not, please follow. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we already got James Lockwood setting the example. Thank you, James. Always resubbing with your tier 1 sub. Thank you
Love
very much.
James.
Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Could play. We could have tried playing.
Could have had another Dory.
Could have had another Dory, or just could have seen his smiling face.
Yeah, true.
Always appreciated.
All right. Well, anyway, love you guys.
Talk to you later, and we'll
See
see
you
you
later.
next. Oh wait. Are we coming back next week? That's exactly what I was saying about Christmas, man. It's like
I'll
the
be here
day.
next week. I don't know how long the tournament will be. It'll probably be like less than 3 rounds, to be honest with you, or 3 or less. That's about that. As you can see, AJ disconnected his phone already, so it's time to call it. Thank you for
Yeah, I
watching,
think it's time
guys.
to call it because it's.
Happy holidays, safe travels if you are traveling.
And we will try and see if the we'll maybe have a stream next week depending on
Yeah.
the turnout. So catch you guys later.
We'll definitely have some sort of stream, get some games in, something.
It would be nice, yeah. All right, catch you later.